Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode, whatever this is, 326. No, I looked at the date. 326 for the week of September 26, 2017. My name is Ryan Higgins, who's here with me this week, and my phone's going off.
Brock Sager.
Hey, it's Toby on the phone.
Silent Bryce.
And not so silent Charlie.
We are
silent with
recording
what's sitting in
right
front of you.
now.
Why? That's great radio. You're reading out your text.
Started.
So.
Oh, hey. Bryce went in the back room. Okay, Bryce walked into the back room because he's in the middle of reading Marvel Legacy #1, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. This is the big issue, comes out this Wednesday. We are going to spoil the fuck out of it, so...
That's okay. The internet already has.
Yeah. Everything's already spoiled. So, give our thoughts on it. If you're listening to this on your Wednesday morning commute and you haven't hit your comic store yet, you probably want to skip most of this episode, but hopefully you can listen to it later tonight.
No, hop on over to another podcast. Listen to us on the way home.
No, don't listen to other podcasts. They suck. But we're going to go talk about a few things while we're waiting for Bryce.
So you're saying, don't listen to Nerds Without Pants or Blowhards?
Oh, they're all good. Listen to the people that give us money. Everyone else. Don't listen to that Geekbox shit. So while everyone's talking about, Legacy and what's happening here with Legacy, there is still some comic book news to talk about here. And there were 3 DC items I wanted to cover before we got into this Marvel fest the rest of this episode is going to be.
Yeah, you're shaking your head like you're...
Well, all three of these things are... All three of these
really excited for this Marvel stuff.
All 3 of these things are incredible from DC. So let's start with... Let's start at the top here.
From lowest on the best to highest on the best?
We are going in the order in which they're opened on tabs on my browser.
That's the best order.
The first one is, I've been calling this shit forever, they've officially cast Saturn Girl for CW's Supergirl TV show. Amy Jackson, who previously... Amy Jackson, who is someone I have no idea who she is, and I'm too lazy to look it up. But she's an actress, apparently, and she's a human, so she's a great fit for Saturn Girl, one of the founding members of the Legion of Superheroes.
She's a Bollywood actress from what I saw, I think, on what I was reading.
I don't think so.
She's been in a couple Bollywood movies.
Her name is Amy Jackson.
I think she's been in a couple Bollywood movies.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
I saw one article that made the same mention, but again, like Ryan, I don't follow anything she's been in. So.
Well, either way, she's going to be Saturn Girl now, so forget whatever she's done in the past. Saturn Girl, Legion of Superheroes. Jeff Johns bringing the Legion to Supergirl. They had the Legion ring, was in Season 1 very briefly, and I've been waiting ever since. Obviously, Mon-El playing a major role in Season 2, and not a founding member of the Legion of Superheroes, but a long-time member of the Legion. And his status at the end of Season 2 was left up kind of in the air a little bit. You don't know what's going on. He's gone, but maybe he goes to the future and brings back the Legion. Oh, hey, maybe that's what's happening. So I'm now really excited. Hopefully we get the rest of the cast. I'd expect.
That's okay. I was already excited for more Supergirl. So
yeah. Well, I mean, the shows start real soon.
Yeah.
They're coming up in a couple, October.
Well, no, yeah, early next month.
This is the end of this month.
This is the end of this month, so I'm pretty much already in October mode.
Yeah. No, they're real soon. Next week, 2 weeks, I think.
2 weeks sounds right.
I thought something started on the 3rd. Something starts real soon.
I know a lot of stuff is kicking off on the Marvel side with Gifted and Inhumans.
Oh, maybe it was Gifted that starts first.
Yeah, I think so.
I still get caught up with Arrow Season 5.
Yeah, it was good. It was real good. So yes, Legion on Supergirl. Super excited. No pun intended. Obviously, we'll know more, and if they cast the rest of the main cast, or bring in bigger characters like Brainiac 5, I'll definitely talk about that because I do love me some Legion.
You just want to see what's that round guy?
Bouncing Boy?
Bouncing Boy.
I love Bouncing Boy. I want Bouncing Boy and Speedball to have a team-up book. It'd be great. I'll write it. I'll totally write it.
Can Gold Balls make a cameo?
Gold Balls can fucking jump off a cliff.
He can die in the first panel.
Yes. Gold Balls will be there, and Speedball and Bouncing Boy will just hit him and knock him off a cliff, and then Gold Ball's dead, and we'll never have to deal with him again. If you're a fan of what DC's done in the movie theaters, you're probably a fan of Lego Batman. which I know has been, which was very, very popular. I know that Lego Ninjago hasn't done very well, but Lego Batman, very popular.
I actually, for me, I liked the Lego movie more than I like Lego Batman.
I mean, Lego movie was great. But DC has found some success with these animated and younger features. Well, and funny enough, also the R-rated feature version with Batman and Harley and Killing Joke and a few of these in limited release. But it seems we're going to get another DC another DC animated movie. And the Lego movie's animated, right? I mean, it's CG. Head to the big screen. There was let's see. There was a couple dates thrown around here, but there was an unknown movie planned for July 27th, 2018, and nobody knew what it was. And we now found out what this is. There's not a lot of info on it, but apparently it's a Teen Titans Go feature film.
Oh, nice.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Teen Titans Go. I'm way behind on it because my TiVo doesn't know how to record them properly.
The TiVo on Teen Titans Go is insane.
So I've watched.
That being said, I make sure I watch them all anyways.
Yeah, I've watched 40 or 50 episodes, and now at this point I'm just getting the
200.
Yeah, at this point I'm just getting the Blu-rays, and I'm just gonna.
One of the last episodes I actually watched most of, but not all of it, was the one with that song. I can't remember. It was like the special.
The Night Begins to Shine.
Yeah, The Night Begins to Shine. Like,
I love The Night Begins to Shine.
God, that song stays in your head. Like, it's ridiculous.
Titans Go movie. Sorry, I can't type apparently. So when Teen Titans Go was announced, people were so mad at it because they thought it was, the replace. Oh, I mean, it is the replacement for Young Justice, but they thought it was replacing Young Justice, and it's like, no, they just ended Young Justice, and now this is the next thing. And I mean, I don't know, man. If you're still hating Teen Titans Go now, get over it. The show's fucking incredible. Mm-hmm. It is so funny.
There's been a few episodes I've watched that I'm like, but majority of the episodes I've seen, I'm like, dude, this is hilarious.
Well, and again, if you're a DC fan, like the amount of reference to actual DC stuff, like not just jokey stuff, but the relationship of the characters, the cameos, the stuff in the background, it's endless, the amount of legit DC stuff that are in the show.
And every once in a while, they will have a punchline that there have been multiple episodes that the very last scene of the episode just floored me. Yeah.
Well, there's been a lot of jokes that are like, they know adults are watching this too. Yeah. So there's a lot of, comic book reader adult jokes in there from time to time where they're like, yep, this is for the
they've had entire
audience.
Episodes winking to shows in like the 80s and early 90s. Yeah. Like, my kids don't get those references.
Right.
The night begins to shine.
But fantastic, fantastic show. Very, very excited to see what they're going to do with this. And I like the fact that DC's trying to do more of these animated stuff in theater. Obviously, Lego Batman was a huge hit. And I'm surprised that Marvel with Disney hasn't pushed more. I know there's supposed to be a get out of here, ambulance. I know there was supposed to be a Spider-Man Miles Morales animated movie, but that never came out, right?
No, I mean, they talked about it and whatnot, but then I think the Marvel deal happened, so...
No, but I thought that was like a more recent thing. I thought they were going to do an animated movie, but it's like perfect to actually get a theatrical release. I'm really surprised Marvel hasn't jumped on this, considering how many movies they've made live action. It seemed to be, it'd be stupid to be working with Disney and not do an animated feature. I'm really surprised. Something like Champions would work really well. Miles Morales, any of their newer characters, or just do an animated Avengers cartoon. I don't know. I would love to see Marvel do something too, but for now we're gonna stick with Teen Titans Go. All right. Kind of one last big thing here to talk about. Something I'm very, very excited for, and if you're a customer here at the store, you should be excited for too. And that is a little comic coming up called Doomsday Clock, written by Jeff Johns, art by Gary Frank. This is the follow-up to Rebirth. This is the big Watchmen comic that's coming out. Superman and Dr. Manhattan in some way interacting. DC released a little trailer featuring Jeff Johns talking about the story and some of inspiration for it, and kind of... they don't really tell you anything, but it is sort of, show some artwork and kind of just, kind of the tone of what he's going for. And around that very same time, they announced that there is going to be a midnight sale for Doomsday Clock. Now, being Watchmen, there's a very, very funny way they're going about this. It's not actually a midnight sale. Normally when this happens, when it hits midnight, we're allowed to sell the comic books. On that Tuesday night becoming Wednesday morning. Well, they're doing something very rare today. Technically, we're going to be selling the books on Tuesday, which doesn't usually happen, because we're doing a 3 minutes to midnight release at 11:57 p.m.
To coincide with the Doomsday Clock.
To coincide with the Doomsday Clock, the real Doomsday Clock. So we're going to be...
Where are we at right now on that
3 minutes to midnight, I believe.
I mean, with everything that's going on right now, I hope we get to see the Doomsday Clock.
Yeah, we've been for the last 2 years. Yep, it's been 3 minutes to midnight. So, yep, I believe we're still there. Although I don't know, maybe they haven't checked Trump's Twitter today. But at least as of today, we're 3 minutes to midnight till nuclear destruction of the world. That's really funny. I love that. I love the fact that they're letting us do it at 11:57. So now. We've already asked, and we'll see what comes of it. But, Jeff Johns is a very busy man. Gary Frank's very busy, too. But, I think he's in England, too, which I think Gary Frank lives in England. I think.
Well, if Gary's in England, they're probably about 8 hours ahead.
Well, what I mean is I'm pretty sure he lives in England. But our good friend Scott Snyder called the store when we did our midnight sale for metal.
It.
Yeah, well, hopefully you're around for this. I'm trying to poke DC, be like, hey, for those guys doing midnight sales, maybe Jeff wants to give us a call, especially since we're West Coast. He'll be awake. So maybe we'll get Jeff Johns to give us a call at the store. You never know. Bryce, you're going to come by for our 3 minute to midnight sale of Doomsday Clock #1. Oh, that is also November 21st, Tuesday, November 21st.
Tuesday, possibly.
Okay.
It's the week of Thanksgiving.
It's tough with... Well, I don't know how you guys do it. I'm sitting at a table with mostly breeders, but it's hard with waking up early for a job and having the kids at home and getting out. But if I can swing it, I will be here.
Okay. Now, what if JT says, "Hey, Dad, I really want to go see this Teen Titans Go movie in the movie theater. You're gonna send him over to Uncle Ryan's house, and I can babysit him, or
I'll slap him again."
Dang.
And say, "Get a hold of yourself. That is just ADD enabling trash."
But it's so good.
Yeah, it's great.
God, it's amazing how hypocritical you are about finding so many things annoying that are not annoying, and then you like Teen Titans Go. It's so
funny.
It's so hyperactive. It's not funny. I don't understand.
It's incredibly funny.
I don't understand your guys' sense of humor.
Dance for your bees, man.
It's enough that I would love to share some of the punchlines, but then I would spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen those episodes yet.
I guarantee you it's not funny. I just guarantee it. Punchlines or no. Is the punchline involve like, God, look at me, I'm Cyborg talking to Robin and being stupid. No, that's crazy. I think that's literally a line from one of the episodes.
Well, there is one more news story here I want to talk about. So obviously, I don't know if any of you have kept up or even started Riverdale. If any of you watch Riverdale, the CW Archie show.
Yeah, I watched all of the first season when it went to Netflix.
Yeah, I actually just polished it off a few weeks ago. I thought it was fantastic. I
enjoyed it quite a bit.
We talked about it a little bit, I think, when it started, and we didn't finish it. And I think Charlie watched it later on Netflix, so we didn't really kind of do like a wrap up of the show. But really surprisingly good, way better than I think it had any right to be. So very excited for a second season, which starts very soon. But apparently, in between 2018 and 2019, when Riverdale's either, I don't know if it's going to be when it's on hiatus or in between seasons, but get ready for another comic book show on CW, because Sabrina, done by the same people, possibly, we don't know, set in the same universe as Riverdale.
Oh wow!
Now, one of the things, a lot of people make comparisons of Sabrina to Twin Peaks. I'm sorry, of Riverdale to Twin Peaks. There's a not the weird aspect of it, but the small town murder mystery aspect of it, and there is a lot of similarities in that regard. And I always said, you bring Sabrina in, and you can start doing some of the weird shit that's, the weird parts of Twin Peaks, the real weird parts of Twin Peaks. Well, here we go. Sabrina's coming. So, I'm very, very excited to see what they could do with this because, like I said,
we're
I
also
think
getting Black Lightning next year.
Black Lightning is this year.
Is this year?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it's the mid
or
whatever.
I don't know when it technically starts, but yes, it's this television season year.
Okay.
And Inhumans should be very soon.
It's Sunday.
Oh, is that this Sunday already?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ! And Gifted is, I think next week. I think Gifted is the one that's the third.
Yeah, I think is like
Next,
if I'm right, it's Inhumans on Sunday, and then Gifted on
Monday or Tuesday or something.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
something like that.
is
Oh, there you go.
Friday.
Oh,
Friday.
okay, maybe it's just
I even
Friday.
had it wrong.
Well, Inhumans
I
is
know
very
it was
soon.
like this week.
I don't want to give any credit to a clickbait site, but I don't want to pass around a headline that's gone around all week anyway. But
Then don't. What?
no, but Inhumans, there's some rumor from out of nowhere saying that ABC's basically already canned the show. They're just going to run it and be done with it. And I mean, that's not hard to assume based on the reaction to the first episodes that ran in the theaters. And
Wait, so it is clickbait, or that is like an actual rumor?
no, I mean, there's no source for this. There's no reason to believe this is verified in any way, shape, or form. But it would not surprise me if it's true. But I don't want to see these shows do bad. I want to. I would love to watch an Inhuman show. I will watch the
on
premiere.
ABC.
I watched two seasons and 2.5 seasons of Shield. Yeah,
I don't know.
I complained about a lot of it, right? But I mean,
You've never complained about Agents of Shield.
Inhumans would have to be like fucking
Sarcasm.
the worst thing I've ever seen to not at least get me for like 3 or 4 episodes. It's going to be real. I will give it because it's short, right? It's not a full season. I don't think it's
I mean, it's like everything else. They order X amount, and
8
then
or
hopefully,
13
if it
episodes
does
or
well, they
something.
order the back half. So
It's funny. I didn't know that's where you're going with the whole clickbait thing, but I did see that same clickbait article because
Yeah.
it was in the little community, whatever. And then, we'll get to Legacy, but there's like one of the ads is a full page house ad for Inhumans, the
And Legacy,
TV show.
yeah.
And I saw it, and I was like, "Ooh, are they gonna like regret this?"
Yeah.
But whatever.
But again, we'll see. We'll talk about at least the premieres of all these shows. Over the course of the next few weeks.
There's a bunch of Punishers out soon, but they have
sometime 2017,
15.
Punisher is being released.
Again, same clickbait. That October date is not firm, guys. That's not confirmed.
Well, I didn't know there was a date yet.
Yeah, there was an October 13th date floating around, but not confirmed. I find that way too soon. There's no way it's come out October 13th.
If it was October 13th, they would be saying a date by now.
Yeah. I have November 17th. Going up against Justice League. That's my call.
Going up against Justice League.
Yeah, well, I mean, they wouldn't really go up against it. Obviously, Justice League would clean Punisher's clock. But, I mean...
What the fuck is so funny?
I don't know. I thought it was funny.
It's
If Brock laughs, it's not funny. So
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Why do I want to throw something at you?
You always do.
I know.
So we'll cover again these shows as we go forward here in the next handful of weeks. A lot of. It's been a quiet couple of weeks for comic news, but I think we're going to get a lot of TV and movie news. And we got Thor and Justice League right around the corner. So a lot of comic TV talk in the next.
November's going to be really busy because we're going to have Thor, and then we're going to have Justice League, and then we're going to have the midnight release of.
Yep.
Or the 11:57 release of Doomsday Clock.
Yep, and again, I'm assuming Punisher November.
Wait,
I don't think they'll put it out to December.
What are the release dates of Thor versus Justice League? Which, by the way, would not make as cool a movie as it could, as it sounds like.
Justice League is the 17th. Thor is like the 3rd, I think.
It's either the 3rd or the 10th.
It's I think it's the 3rd. Yeah, it's the first week. I'm like double check that, but I'm like 90% sure that's right. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on to Marvel Legacy now. So if you guys don't want to be spoiled by anything, and you haven't read the internet for the past 2 days, you probably want to skip the rest of this episode because we're going to be talking about Legacy. There's a couple of news bits coming out of this, and there's one major like officially announced thing that we'll cover here shortly. So, but Legacy. If you haven't been following what Legacy is, you haven't been listening to this podcast because we've been covering this pretty pretty much nonstop for months now. Legacy is in a not dissimilar fashion to DC Rebirth, which was DC's book, came out about a year and a half ago, that tried to kind of reinvigorate the DC universe and bring back some classic elements that were missing. Marvel Legacy tries to do something very similar. A number of traditional and classic Marvel characters have been gone for the last 2 to 5 years, I'd say. Marvel has been focusing on some new characters, some alternative takes on classic characters. So whether it's due to sales or whether it's due to creators wanted to take these characters back, whether it's from fan feedback, who knows why Marvel's doing this, but they're going to try to have their cake and eat it too by giving you back a bunch of classic characters throughout the course of the next 6 months or so. A bunch of characters are going to return in various story arcs, as well as trying to shine a spotlight on the newer characters and the newer versions of these characters that have been, let's say, underperforming. So this one shot, written by Jason Aaron, with art by, let me get the entire list. It's here. It's friggin' everyone under the sun.
There's a ton of artists.
Art by Asad Ribic, Steve McNiven, Chris Samney, Russell Dodderman, Alex Maleev, Ed McGuinness, Stuart Immonen, Wade Von Grawbadger. I'm not familiar with him. Pepe Larraz, thank you. Jim Chung, Daniel Lacuna, Greg Land, Jay Leston, Mike Diodato Jr., and David Marquez. So this is like kind of Marvel's. These are Marvel's guys. This is Marvel's like A-list art teams. These are the artists that are going to be working on a lot of the upcoming books. The character arcs they draw in these, I believe the vast majority of them, these are actually the characters they are going to be drawing starting next week when these Marvel Legacy titles start coming out. So, it's funny because I remember Marvel kind of had their foot in their mouth claiming that artists don't, kind of move the needle, which I actually agreed with a little bit, but it is really stupid for a comic book company to say that. So they're like, well, we fucked up, so we're going to give you like our absolute best artists all in one book together. And, I'm very hopeful that these artists can stay on these titles long term. And at least, hopefully they can mimic something like DC has, where even though some of these books are double shipping, they at least have some form of equivalent artist taking over the in-between arcs. Because, DC has had some terrible fill-in arcs throughout the years. I feel with Rebirth, they really sat down and said, look, when we have an artist come in to do the arc in between the main artists, we want it to feel similar, close as they can. And I think they've done for the most part, a very good job with Rebirth on the art end. I don't hear nearly as much complaining about the art of the Rebirth titles as I had the art of the New 52 titles, which would vary wildly sometimes. And there was a lot of fill-in art in New 52.
Especially when you don't necessarily pay close attention to the artist. It also... So I always kind of felt that it does not take that many issues in a row for somebody to be like, yeah, I'm going to drop this book. So when you have a fill-in artist that doesn't match what you're expecting, that can also hurt sales.
Oh, yeah. So, the thing that, again, what we had said with Marvel is that, a lot of readers, including, I would think everyone sitting at this table, agree that, Marvel's focus on these new and alternative and different characters has kind of taken a focus away from the reason a lot of people read Marvel, and that's, their core characters. Not saying that some of these characters don't deserve.
Well, it was pretty much the fact that you were sacrificing the traditional characters for the new characters. It doesn't really have anything to do with the fact that they were putting a emphasis behind new characters. It was that they were doing it at the expense of the current characters.
Correct. So, let's start. Let's go around the table and say, a couple of words about, do we think this book succeeds and what it's trying to do, and then we'll kind of do a quick once around, and then we'll actually hit some specifics here. So, Brock, let's start with you and go around.
Well, I think for the most part,
Yeah, what do you think?
I mean, to me, it was it obviously poses some questions that I'm like, okay, well, where are they going to take this in certain things? With the Celestials and Odin and all the stuff that's happening in the past. But I felt kind of, everyone's equating it to, it's kind of like Rebirth in the sense that they're bringing kind of this Marvel, the Marvel classic stuff back with the whole legacy thing. And, with what's revealed in it, mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, you're bringing those things back that people have been complaining about for years. But to me, I'm not reading about that character. I wasn't really reading that character before, at least for me.
Which character? Just
the Fantastic Four stuff.
Okay.
New Ghost Rider's in here. I don't read him.
Well,
it's.
I think part of the problem is here is no one's reading any of it, right?
Yeah,
so, does this
kind of entice me to read more?
Yeah.
Yes and no. Do I care about the Ghost Rider, the new Ghost Rider? No.
That's one plot of.
It's one plot, but do I care about what's going on with the Fantastic Four stuff? Sure. Do I want to know what's going on with Thor? Yeah, because I'm still following Thor. Am I going to start following Deadpool? No.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see what they're trying to do with it, but I think from my standpoint, Jason Aaron's writing in this is amazing. It's an amazing one-shot story. But it didn't resonate as much with me as John's Rebirth did.
Sure.
It also feels, it still has that scattered feel to it. Like there's so much stuff going on. There's so many things that they're trying to tie up in nice little, say, oh, we're bringing this character back. We're bringing Wolverine back. We're bringing all of these characters back. But it's like it's all over the map with this, where Rebirth kind of had this feeling of telling us a story in the chapters that were featured, but teased stuff in the background. It didn't bring it to the front. It let those things kind of come about naturally. Mm-hmm. Where this kind of is more. Honestly, it's what I've felt Marvel's been doing for a very long time, and that's just, hey, read this book because we're going to advertise other books you should read, instead of read this book and see what you're curious about and go read that. So to me, it feels very like advertising.
Oh, I think that's kind of the intent.
Well, it is the intent, but it's complete advertising versus story.
Okay.
Like Rebirth gave me story. It gave me something to grasp onto, to follow, to want to go to these titles and read them. This gives me, at least for me, just, Wolverine's back. Oh, Fantastic Four's back. Oh, this is back. Like it did feel a little bit like Fear itself at points, with kind of, you should read this now.
Okay.
So overall, I'm not impressed.
Okay. I get the feeling Bryce is going to disagree with you. I don't know why. I see him biting his tongue over there.
Yeah, it's fucking hold me back. Jesus Christ.
One more thing. The lenticular cover is garbage.
Yeah, it's not great.
Okay, wow. Glad we cleared that up. Okay, this was actually contrary to my esteemed colleague's wrong opinion. An incredible book. You should absolutely go read this. I think that any comparisons to Rebirth should be thrown out the window. I don't know why you would because they're both one-shots that come in the same year that sort of like reestablish the universes, I guess, except that Rebirth was about like pivoting away from the New 52 to like acknowledging that this is the direction that they're going to go in. So I understand the tenuous similarity in that Marvel is pivoting, except that Marvel isn't changing its universe at all. They're just going away from what they've had the past several years. I see this more as a love letter to the fans and an almost an apology, I think, to longtime readers. So I'm gonna go through this like at a crushing speed so that you get it. But basically, if you read the Legacy at crushing speed, yeah, I'm sure that I will. Said nobody.
We know it's not going to be brief.
But I will go through it as quickly as I can before Ryan cuts me off. But if you read you should, by the way, as a precursor to this, you should go read the Generations Thor.
Well, we don't need a front to back summary of the book. We'll get to that.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
like overall thoughts.
Overall thoughts. I thought that this was basically a mea culpa to fans. I think that they have addressed a lot of the things that fans were crying out for with respect to the Iron Man. Oh yeah, he's just back. And Wolverine. Oh yeah, he's just back. I actually disagree with Brock. I don't think, and maybe I just read this wrong, I don't think that the Fantastic Four is back. I think that what I read is that they are, in fact, not back because of that final page, but maybe I'm reading it wrong. Falcon is like, they made it point to say that he's going to go back to being Falcon. Captain America's figuring himself out. And by the way, we'll get to this possibly later, but I actually really liked Secret Wars Omega. I usually don't like those post big event crossover summary books or
Secret
Omega books.
Empire.
What did I say?
Secret Wars.
Whatever. Not whatever. I was wrong. For the first time ever. Secret Empire Omega.
Only you.
Great art. Great story. Andrea Sorrentino does the art. It's great. So yeah, I love the fact that they addressed a bunch of things. At first, I was thinking, why is Nate Gray, X-Man, being arrested by the cops in his car? Because I didn't know who this kid was. I never read the Young Ghost Rider story. He's got the same crop of white hair in the front. Anyway, so they addressed a bunch of the quote-unquote like new generation, if you want to call it. There may be a better word, that they're going to be keeping around, but also had a lot of characters that they just sort of acknowledged are going to be back to normal. There's a shout-out to so many, and I guess we're going to get to it, but a shout-out to so many different storylines in this book that are going to go back to quote-unquote normal, as well as opening up so many new storylines, totally contrary to Brock's point. I think that they opened up a ton of possible story arcs that they sort of hinted at. And I'm very excited to see what they do. Instead of Rebirth, I actually likened the whole legacy idea of this book much more to, I believe it was DC's Final Crisis. I was really sort of jealous that this whole Stone Age thing of how there's these like certain, I maybe legacy, but these certain like characteristics or these certain like, what's the fucking word? These certain types of characters that originated in the Stone Age, and it's not the exact same as the Final Crisis stuff, because Batman, because of the Omega beams, I believe it was like shunted back to the Stone Age, and then he like started the whole bat symbol, and I'm sure Grant Morrison fucked that shit all up. In a good way, but like made it very, very confusing and convoluted, however good. Whereas this is like establishes or introduces the idea that, hey, this idea of a Ghost Rider or an Iron Fist or a Doctor Strange or a Phoenix has been around since the beginning of Earth.
Yeah, the Avengers 1 million BC is I think a genius idea.
Yeah,
I think
incredibly great idea that they could go so many places and it. I mean, basically, as loath as I am to admit it, the best, I think, writer in comics ever, sorry, Chris Claremont, is Jeff Johns, because of what he was able to take from this existing matter and then create this whole, like, just multiply it times infinity and create this whole new, basically, world that they would... well,
doesn't, like Avengers 1 million BC feel like a Jeff Johns thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
right.
exactly why I'm bringing it up,
right,
is because, like... What he did with Green Lantern is kind of what it seems like they might be trying to emulate here a little bit, which is like, look, we have these like basically these brands, this Iron Man brand, this Doctor Strange brand, this Iron Fist brand, and we can like make it so that we introduce Ironheart. You fans shouldn't get upset because there's a new Iron Man. You should acknowledge the fact that like there have been Iron Mans forever. Okay, that's a bad example because he wasn't in the 1 million BC, but like with the Iron Fist or the Doctor Strange or the Phoenix, like
Thor.
this isn't Thor, like
Ghost Rider.
This isn't something you should get upset because there's a new one.
That makes sense.
It's that they've like had a version of this since the Stone Age. I think that was fucking brilliant.
They've Jason Aaron has touched on this a little bit with Doctor Strange because they've had previous Sorcerer Supremes.
There's always been a Sorcerer Supreme, and Ghost Riders forever.
Yeah, and Brubaker with the previous Iron Fist. My point is that they're sort of establishing that as like they're sort of laying down the this is actually how it is, and so that goes so well with the whole idea of legacy. I can't even tell you the idea of Phoenix and Odin getting it on. Nothing makes me harder under the table. So there's a lot more that I want to say, I guess, as we go through it. But I think that this book was a phenomenal pivot, love letter apology to fans. Hey, we get it. We're bringing a bunch of guys back that you love. And by the way, how about these fucking awesome story threads that could be coming at you in the next year, 2 year, 3 year, whatever. I loved it.
Charlie.
So I feel like I'm right between Brock and Bryce on this one.
No.
Because
that's not what she said.
I agree that this was very successful for what it did. But at the same time, I'm sitting here thinking, other than like the new things coming out of this, like the return of Phoenix and that kind of stuff, most of the books I feel like this naturally lends me to keep reading are the books I'm already reading. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like a lot of the threads that I care about the most are the ones that are getting picked up in the Thor book that I'm already reading. I'm already invested in a lot of the specific titles that the fact they're going with Legacy just makes me a little more excited for those titles, but I'm not like, I want to jump on the Hulk book. I'm not really excited to jump on the books that I'm already not reading.
Let me jump in for 1 second here, Charlie, just because in the back of the book, there is the books that tell you where to follow these threads, and they are Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Deadpool.
What's hilarious is I said this was an advertisement.
Spider-Man, Avengers, 2-in-1, Black Panther, Hulk, Guardians, X-Men, Blue and Gold. But that's the thing. So these books, you're interested in following the threads. Most of the threads in here to these titles, you're not interested in.
So I'm mainly interested in Captain America because of the new writer. The arc they kind of introduced in here didn't make me go, I'm excited for a Captain America book. It's the fact that it's Wade writing Captain America that has me excited for that one. Thor, I was already following. Yeah. Cable, obviously, I'm going to keep following. Deadpool, because of the tie to Cable, doesn't really have anything to do with what they established in here, but because Deadpool's supposedly going to be going after Cable, of course I'm going to...
he's ripping Cable's arm off.
Yeah, I know. But I was already reading Amazing Spider-Man. Like, where I kind of feel like this kind of failed, if it was the Bruce Banner Hulk returning to Planet Hulk, that would have hooked me enough to be like, I totally want to read that. But the fact that I know it's not kind of takes some of the steam out. I kind of felt like I could see where they're going, but I feel like most of these threads are getting picked up in books I was already caring about. Like they're highlighting their best titles that they already had.
Fair enough. So I guess I would amend the end of my review to say that, yes, there was some advertising, I think, but I actually didn't get a sense that they were pushing us mostly to this. If we can go quickly through this big advertisement that you guys are a little nihilistic about. I mean, all right, so out of the 12, 2 of them are X-Men stories about Mojo. I mean, they were never trying to sell us Mojo. I mean, there was like one page of the Guardians of the Galaxy talking about the Infinity Stones.
That one I will give you.
Sure.
Guardians of the Galaxy, because of this issue, I'm much more interested in.
Get the shit out of me. Toby's crawling around on the floor back there.
Anyway, so one page on Deadpool, I don't get the sense that they're shamelessly trying to advertise Deadpool, other than they had a hilarious single page of Deadpool on the can. Like,
God forbid.
What was annoying was that Ultron story that they had. Was it Age of Ultron? that story that they had where like the last 4 pages were just literally advertisements?
Well, if you read Rebirth, remember, there were many of these little 1 or 2 page kind of ads, if you will, for upcoming story arcs, including the Ray and Justice League America and
Green Arrow was in there.
Green Arrow,
right?
yeah. So they had these little bits in there as well. Charlie, when we wrap up, I'll talk and then we'll discuss some of the
what made
specifics
Rebirth a little different to me is you had this sense that based on this event, there was this sort of thing returning to all the books. And because of that, I instantly wanted to see what was being brought back to all the books. It felt very in the narrative through that. This, I see a lot of arcs that they're kind of taking a panel or two to kind of showcase. But it doesn't feel like a lot of these arcs are directly tied to what's happening in this book. It's not really about time being restored to DC like it was there. It just, like, narratively, what was the point of the panels of Deadpool other than we need to put in some panels to show we're doing this change in story for Deadpool? Like, that's just kind of how I saw it.
Yeah,
I would disagree with that.
Yeah, so I don't disagree with that either. I think that I would be careful to cast too many aspersions of comparing it directly to Rebirth. I'm not sure. By the way, I think that your argument of like this won't get you to read any or many new stories that you weren't already reading. I would think that was the same feeling that I had for Rebirth. Like, I wasn't going to be like, oh, I'm going to go read a bunch of titles that aren't Batman right now.
So I guess what I'm hoping, just because of Marvel's slump in sales, is I'm hoping we see a pickup on the Thor title because of this. I'm hoping we see a pickup on... I'm hoping it's not just people like me who are already following these titles who jump on at this point, because that's not really going to work.
So what I think that they did really well is that, A, they can't have all of the original characters that we all miss. Not we all, but the fans, quote-unquote, have been clamoring about missing. They can't have them all come back in one story. But they have a bunch come back now and indicate that they have their head on straight now. And, they didn't address the Phoenix coming back at all, but that's a spoiler that's come out that the Phoenix is going to be coming back.
Yeah.
So, like...
wasn't that the whole thing that, like, oh, the big reveal and this was the Phoenix comes back? And that's not in here at all.
Right, exactly.
Which I thought was really...
That's why when you spoiler level whatever the fuck did me,
news.
I was like, okay, that sucks that got spoiled for me. And then it wasn't in here, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So even when Phoenix does come back... that's awesome. So I think that, like, as long as they keep on the trend of, good stories and I mean, that needs to change. I think that they need to keep getting better stories, better than the cadence that they're currently at. But also, keep bringing back these original characters that we've been missing. Yeah. That's awesome. And the fact that they bring a bunch back here... they bring a few back here.
Tom Brevoort, one of the editors, he had a thing where he's like, well, Legacy's part 3 and a plan we've got. It's like, oh, fuck off. Like, there's no plan. You fucked up. Just admit it. You're bringing your characters back. Cool. This is not planned. None of this was planned. This shit's all just, you came up with the 6 months ago.
It's planned if it's after the fact, right?
Sure. But
they started with step 3.
yeah. Step 3, and then we'll work our way backwards.
How can we make this seem like we knew what we were doing?
For me, I'm actually probably somewhere between Charlie and Bryce. I thought about 80% of this book was absolutely top notch. I think it does. You are missing. There's the potential that we have something like Rebirth here. We just don't know it yet. In Rebirth, they very clearly stated, like, something has happened, and you have the Watchmen involved, and that's a direct correlation.
Somebody's messed with...
messed with time.
Yeah.
So all these characters coming back, and kind of the things they're setting up here. Now, if you remember where they left the Fantastic Four, it was they were going around basically creating and rediscovering the multiverse, right? That's where they leave the FF at the end of Secret Wars. That Reed was, or between
Franklin and
Valerie, they were basically like
Valeria,
not Valeria.
It's Valeria.
Is that how you pronounce her name?
Yeah,
that was But they call her Val. Oh yeah, Valeria. Why did I think it was something else? That was Valerie. Valeria Richards.
Because they always call her Val.
Yeah. They were kind of like recreating the multiverse through the power of the Molecule Man and all the
Franklin.
yeah, all the stuff they had left over after the fight with Doom. So it is possible that sort of image of her with the hand at the very on the Valeria in the second last page, and her comment of saying, I wish I knew which universe I'd like to be exploring.
Yeah,
she's talking about where I'm imagining I'm on my way home. So you can maybe infer that they're saying that they're coming back, and that's sort of going to return things to normal, quote unquote. You could read that if you want. I don't know if that's intentional, but I sort of was like, well, it's not as obvious as finding the button in the wall, but if you want to read it that way, you can. I thought the Avengers 1 million.
Yeah, the Avengers 1 million or 1 million BC or whatever. I like that stuff a lot.
If I had a complaint, I don't understand what the Starbrand and Ghost Rider stuff was about.
Yeah.
There's the Celestial. There's a Celestial that clearly is, I guess, hunting them,
Buried.
but or buried in one.
It's the one that was defeated at the beginning of the book.
Right,
It was
right.
imprisoned underground and
Now it's
left
coming
there
back.
until it gets awakened, basically.
Right, but I don't. Obviously we'll find out. But if Starbrand and Robbie Reyes never appeared in another comic again, I'd be much happier than I am today. Why is Starbrand a thing they keep trying to push?
Dude, as a huge Marvel lover, one of my most annoyed things is how badly they've butchered Starbrand. Like, Starbrand, by all rights, should be this freaking awesome thing, and he's just never been cool.
When has Starbrand even last appeared? Has he been in?
Well, no, he was in that.
No, I did. He was in all the Hickman Avengers stuff.
Yeah.
No. But subsequently, he was in that. Like, let's go fight high schoolers with Night Mask.
Oh,
yeah. That I assume was like Starbrand and Night Mask. That
little bullshit miniseries. Okay, that like
right. I was gonna say I don't know because I only got issue 1.
I'm pretty sure that never actually happened.
Right. So other than that, because I agree. It was Hickman's Avengers. And the whole
maybe they'll be the first two the Celestial kill. Huh? I'd be okay with that.
The first two the Celestial Killer were those archaeologist guys.
Well, that too. There's a couple things. Nobody cares about Wakandans in space. I mean, nobody.
What? Oh, I totally disagree. That's such a cool idea.
Are you gonna start buying Black Panther? Like I said, nobody cares about Wakandans in space.
Let me fucking answer. If they start to make like Black Panther some crazy, awesome, like if they give him some crazy mythology and get some awesome stories, fuck yeah, dude.
They have,
yes,
and it's all on Earth. There's no.
Yeah, but this is like it totally opens up a whole new like available chapter or available what's the word? Not chapter. Available whatever.
But that said, most of the other plots I actually enjoyed. So I am, if Rebirth is a 10 out of 10,
wait,
and
I'll tell you right now, if Black Panther gets picked up by Al Ewing and he does some space shit with Black Panther, I guarantee you right now, I want to pick up the Al Ewing book that's like, what is he doing? Some garbage Earth-based book is probably like U.S. Avengers or something.
He's doing U.S. Avengers. He's writing every book getting canceled. That's Al Ewing. That's what he does.
Sign me up for every canceled in the future Al Ewing book ever because his work on Ultimates 2 was so good.
If Rebirth is a 10 and Marvel Now 0.1 one shot is a 0, this is probably like a 7. I thought this actually did exactly what it was meant to do. It was supposed to show you classic characters back, done well. You could read Old Man Logan all you want, but it's not quite Wolverine, right? I mean,
true, but it's been fucking great.
I have one problem with the Wolverine coming back, and that's why is it every single time we seem to see Wolverine, like in an opening or something, there's a semi that gets destroyed.
That's your complaint?
I don't know.
Like, don't you remember X-Men? Like, it was the semi that got destroyed when it's like Sabretooth.
It's legacy, if that's what they've always done.
That's what they've always done. And apparently that's what we
by
need to
every
do.
time, do you mean X-Men won the movie and this comic book?
And for some odd reason, I think it's been done before.
Well, let's I mean, I'm definitely. I think this is. If you have read very little to no Marvel in the last handful of years, and you're missing, some element of those classic characters, I definitely think you should read this. I don't care for the vast majority of the recent Marvel characters that have introduced. Maybe Thor being maybe kind of the exception. I still don't care about the new Ghost Rider and Starbrand, but I thought Riri Williams. I thought Ironheart was written okay.
Ironheart's not bad.
I thought although this will probably be the last appearance of Falcon as Cap, I thought it was okay. It's not selling me on any of on the new stuff. But again, like Bryce said, if you're a fan of the old stuff, it is good to see. And I mean, just seeing Thing and Johnny, but he needs to change his fucking costume. I hate this costume. They're setting up the big four flare. That felt good. I want to see where they're going to go with this. With the Celestial, I'm assuming that's going to be kind of a plot through the Marvel universe. I don't know where that's going to get picked up.
The Thor. Yeah.
Well,
based on the little ad in the back.
The Jean
well,
Grey
the Thor stuff is Mangog. That's the Mangog stuff is what's picking up in Thor. Oh. I don't know what they're doing with Celestial.
It's so close to Magog.
I know. Yeah. Well,
that is weird that they chose a word so close. That's annoying. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was going to be more Avengers related because of the cave paintings.
Well, one of the things that did get announced was beginning in Avengers 675. There's an arc called No Surrender, which is going to be a weekly series. I think Uncanny Avengers and U.S. Avengers and maybe something else, they're kind of they're ending and getting wrapped up into like a maxi series. And there's this character that was teased a few weeks ago that she appears in this. What the heck's her name? Voyager. Kind of looks like a Storm Vision, kind of visiony looking girl with the white eyes, kind of like Storm. Go back and look at that Avengers panel with Jarvis, that very last panel. Yeah, there's someone there that shouldn't be there, and this is going to get picked up in a weekly Avengers series running starting in January.
Oh, I saw that statue and I was like, oh, it's the old team back together. I didn't realize that there was somebody different.
Yeah, there's an additional person on that statue.
There's the V,
and that's that Voyager.
I guess
girl that they teased.
Thought that was Wasp.
No, Wasp is on Giant Man's hand, or he's supposed to be, or she's supposed to be.
Well, there's no Wasp on Giant Man's hand. Okay.
Well, it's like or like on his shoulder. Maybe she's somewhere.
Yeah, no. I hear you. Yeah. No. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I didn't notice because I thought that it was Wasp, and I didn't think about it twice. And that's sort of a cool thing that I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Right across the page from the full page ad for Inhumans.
Yeah. There's talk of a number of these books ending and not actually the Avengers books ending and kind of getting brought into this weekly series. So obviously these threads are going to go in a few different places, but Bleeding Cool had a good kind of Cliff's Notes for this of the big spoilers. So let's hit these one by one, and we'll give you a little context of what's going on, and maybe we can all kind of have our little say on just from kind of least spoilery to most theoretically most spoilery. It's funny that they put this as maybe one of the least spoilery. Wolverine's back. He's escaped from his adamantium tomb. They show Jean Grey at his statue. At the statue that he became. Statue. And it broke. And
no, he busted out of that thing, man.
Yeah. Now they do bring up later what he seems to be here. What he's going for an item, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. But Wolverine's back, and he was dead a lot longer than I thought he was going to be gone.
Yeah, you were shockingly, you were the biggest troll of that. Yeah. We'll see you next year, Logan. It's been years.
Well, the thing is we pretty much got
that is literally years.
I know.
It wasn't that we got Wolverine. We still got Old Man Logan running around.
Well, and X-23.
Do we know what book Classic Logan's going to be a part of?
I asked on the Marvel site, and their PR guy said patience. That was his reply.
He said soon TM.
Yeah.
Basically, that was his nice way of saying.
No, I didn't ask Blizzard. I asked Marvel.
I know, but I wish that every PR firm would answer
soon TM.
Soon TM.
Yeah.
Trademark by Blizzard.
Yeah. Their number 14 spoiler is, but this arc's about this big celestial was defeated by the Avengers 1 million BC and buried. I really want to see where they're going with this. I have no idea where this...
Is that a title? Am I supposed to be looking at something right now?
No, this is the article on Bleeding Cool, where they kind of break down the big spoilers. And so we're going to go this one by one through the whole book.
Wait, so do we know...
Explaining to the listeners...
Do we know that they're going to call it 1 million BC or Stone Age? Or
That's what... it's 1 million... Avengers 1 million BC is what Marvel has called it since they first showed this. It's not a title... That is just what they call the team.
Okay.
And we do, to the best of my knowledge, we do not know where they're going to be picking this up.
Got it. Okay.
Thoughts? Got
what? Avengers 1 million BC sounds like the most awesome thing ever.
Yeah, if they had announced a new title with this old school Avengers in the past, that would have been one that I would have jumped on to read more of.
Now, that and the Loki stuff, right? I just don't know. We don't know where that's going to be picked up on.
Well, I kind of felt like the purpose of that original team was just to establish the Celestial there for a thread for modern day.
But
I would love to see...
Yeah, you don't do this and throw it away and never use it again.
But my worry is it's just going to be a flashback in the Thor book or... Like I would absolutely love a miniseries or something to actually be announced with.
I don't. I would love for them to put this in a real title. I don't want a bullshit miniseries or a special or event or anything like that. I want them to take this, like what DC has done with the Rebirth stuff until Doomsday Clock. Take these elements and put them in the monthly comic books.
Yeah, This is what they should give Al Ewing because it'll get canceled anyway. But
the thing is throw it in an arc of the Avengers or
the Phoenix Return stuff. Fuck, that should just be an X-Men. Like, why does it have to be a miniseries to make it its own goddamn book?
Oh, we know it's going to be a miniseries.
Yeah, it's a miniseries. Yeah. They've already it's already been solicited.
That is annoying.
Yeah, one of the things that was thrown just in a one little word balloon, and obviously this is going to be picked up in Daredevil, is that Wilson Fisk is running for mayor of New York and is ahead in the polls. Now that screams like a rebirth thing, or like I guess this is post-crisis because why would anyone ever vote? I mean.
Well,
hasn't he been in jail multiple times?
No, it's the stuff from Secret Empire. It's when he was helping out when he was helping all the people out when Manhattan was in the dark globe and stuff like that.
I don't think it matters.
It doesn't matter in the grand scheme, but that's where they're taking it.
I can't.
So, do you remember back with No Man's Land when they first decided Lex was going to start running for president?
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing where during Secret Empire, Wilson Fisk became the man of the people.
People don't know that Lex Luthor is a bad guy, though. People know Wilson Fisk is a bad guy.
Historically...
Wait, is that true?
Fisk has been in jail like 17 times.
No. I mean about Lex Luthor.
Yeah. No,
I thought that this was a very eloquent way of doing the same thing, but less egregiously. Whereas when they said Lex Luthor was going to run for president, I'm like, this guy's literally been a bad guy for 50 years. Since Wilson Fisk is just running for mayor.
Since New 52, Lex has actually never been a bad guy. I mean, he's kind of done some stuff, but he's actually not been a bad guy since New 52.
Yeah, but the mayor was
right. What I'm saying is that, yes, pre-New 52, Lex Luthor was not considered a bad guy by the average man on the street. He was... people thought he was Bill Gates or what's the Apple guy?
Steve Jobs?
Well, sure, not Steve Jobs, but sure, maybe like Tim Cook. But no, sure, call him Steve Jobs. Sure, call him Steve Jobs. What the they had no
Steve Ballmer, maybe?
They don't know that They don't know that he's a supervillain. Again,
like that guy that played him in the
pre-crisis. Pre-crisis, they did.
Fuck that movie.
Post-crisis, they didn't.
Interesting.
The average person did not know Lex Luthor was a
in New 52, he was in jail.
But he gets
no. That's not the point. The point is that this whole presidency thing happened pre-New 52.
Mm-hmm. Right. But
so I guess I was wrong for the second time ever in my life.
No,
but
the average people don't know that Lex Luthor is a bad guy.
Well, the thing is the crimes that he's put away for in those things. Because I mean, in All-Star Superman, one of your Boner Morrison things, he's
not
in jail.
In continuity.
It's in Morrison's continuity.
No.
I thought that in real continuity, in the 50 years that he'd been around,
yes.
The
problem
is DC reboots
That's
a little too often to fully keep track
Bryce
of
Bryce
what
is
people
right.
know and what people don't.
confirmed.
For 50 years, he was a supervillain that everyone knew about, from the 1930s to the 1980s. Yes, from post-Crisis to New 52, he was he was. Well, this takes on a
Well,
much
he was
different.
his quote unquote son there for a while.
There
and
was
he was
stuff going on,
Okay,
but yes.
let's move
anyway,
on. Let's move
anyway,
on. All right.
anyway.
So Wilson Fisk, it's actually, I mean, yeah, it's I don't know. It's not that crazy. I mean, it's crazy, but the world we live in, it's.
I was going to say, yeah. Literal supervillains now. So
At least
Voyager,
Wilson Fisk has better hair.
Voyager has been retconned into the Avengers' earliest adventures, and he has a little snarky line here. It says maybe you can chat about it with Jessica Jones, because she was in. They retconned to actually be a member of the Avengers for half a minute when she was. What was her name? Jewel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that retcon.
So
I wasn't bothered by that.
I'm curious about this Voyager stuff. I have not cared at all for the current arcs of Avengers. I really like Mark Waid, but the current Avengers book has done absolutely nothing for me.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been harmless. It's been good.
I kind of feel like certain issues I enjoy quite a bit. Certain issues I just kind of take it early.
Yeah, I haven't even read the last 6
I think I
or
read
7
like 2
or
or
so.
3 of them. I just couldn't get.
Oh,
Yeah.
You too? Oh, that's shocking. I didn't really see that coming.
Coming from the guy that has read every single Avengers comic that's ever been published, yes, that is pretty shocking.
Yeah, but you haven't liked any Avengers and since Bendis and the disassembled shit, and don't say that you have. Is this pause for you to try to think of a single one that you did like?
No,
to prove me wrong?
No. I
Because-
told you I
Keep going.
did kind of come around on New Avengers, and I actually ended up really liking it compared to the stuff they've done the last
New
few years.
Avengers was fucking great. By the way, Hickman's Avengers was fucking even better.
We'll agree to disagree. I'm
We
curious
certainly
with
will.
You
again
did that a lot.
changing the past, kind of this new character being inserted into the Avengers. I'm curious what they're going to do here. Obviously, we don't. This is going to be part of this Avengers
I just hope she doesn't
No
turn
Surrender.
into, like, the female version of Sentry.
Well, right, we don't know. It could be crap, but curious enough that I will read this arc. So this again, I don't know where any of this comes from, and I may have missed it. I don't know where this shows up from. It says after one went down, Secret Empire S.H.I.E.L.D. is being disbanded, and all the agents will be unemployed or dead. They said that Deadpool killed Agent Coulson.
Yeah.
What did I miss that? When did that happen?
Yeah, that happened in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
In the
The comic
TV
book.
show?
No, is that not the name of the title that I don't read? The there's a fucking S.H.I.E.L.D. comic book.
like a year and a half ago.
Okay, well, Deadpool then. In Deadpool it happens.
It happened. It
Why don't you go on
happened.
the internet and look?
Yeah. It happened in Deadpool. He also married Shikla, some sort of monster
Shikla?
lady.
What the fuck is that?
Isn't her name Shikla?
He killed. I mean, I had no idea if this happened. I have never.
He's like
this
the
is the first I've heard
adoptive
of this.
father of one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that and she's like a robot.
I'm assuming we're going to get more details because I'm assuming the internet would have
Now,
already
why are you getting so hung
exploded
up on this? Of all things.
if it happened.
Keep it going.
No,
Yes,
it had-
it happened in Deadpool. Confirmed.
Okay,
Go.
had they killed Coulson, I think someone would have mentioned that. I just never. I've not.
As I said, I'm pretty sure they haven't
Dude,
gone into
yeah.
any detail
Are you being
about it yet.
sarcastic? Coulson has been killed more times than Jean Grey. Like he's been in LMD so many times over. I can't believe we're wasting
Come
this
on.
radio
For like
time
5
on.
Come on,
years.
Ryan needs to know which book to pull off the shelf, and
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I just don't know
Put
when
up
this
on the wall.
happened. No, I just don't know when this happened. Okay, this is one of those items. Like, I don't know why to spoil it, but Falcon. And, if there is a word, if there is a phrase I never need to, let me rephrase that. If there's a sentence I never need to hear again, let me find it here.
Bryce
This
is right.
This is a well. That's close. Why don't I move on to the next topic while I go back to the other one while I'm finding the phrase? And this is one I think we all agree with. Steve Rogers riding Harley across America, and he's ready to come back and be Captain America and fixes all the shit that evil Hydra Steve caused. Yeah, I'm down with that. Chris Samney and Mark Waid have fantastic creators. The run on Daredevil is amazing. Very excited to see what they're going to do with Cap. You too? Bryce or Brock got up.
I'm excited to see what they do with Cap because of the creative team. The idea of Cap
I don't want to see Cap like crying for like 12 issues. Or
well, yeah, but the whole idea of him stepping away from the way they set that up with them basically saying nobody knows where Steve Rogers is, I'm kind of like, no, Steve would be completely in front of this, trying to restore some level of faith.
Well, you read the Omega issue, right?
Yeah, where he went to go visit the...
Yeah.
Well, and
I thought that was perfectly endemic of why he's escaping and getting away from it all. He's
well,
giving
at the
world
very
a
end
break
too.
from Steve Rogers.
And at the very end too, the Hydra tease is like,
Oh my God.
here we go again.
I loved that. I was
yeah. No, I did too.
We don't have the issue on the shelf, but it's Deadpool 31.
Oh, confirmed.
Okay.
The Bryce is right.
Okay, so he killed him in Deadpool.
Yeah, Deadpool 31.
Weird.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
What can I
a book that has
say
how many
except
people
you're welcome?
reading it?
Not many.
Please don't. Just don't.
So the phrase I never need to read
sky,
again.
the sun,
The phrase,
Sing the crab song at least.
stars.
the sentence I never need to read again goes with Bleeding Cool's number 10, big spoiler, which is, this is, as Jane Foster, she might be losing her battle with cancer, but no one said you couldn't have fun while dying, which is why Thor will be definitely making out with Captain America today.
Yeah,
I never need to read that sentence again. I just really never...
That's what we
already
waited for.
established
That
they're together in the Avengers.
I just
book,
never
so.
need to read the sentence Thor making
we
out with
just-
Captain
America,
America.
yeah.
Just
why? What's wrong with that?
Because if we're going back to
because
classic
of
characters, it's
50
very gay.
years of
And what's wrong
Thor
with
and
that?
Captain...
There's nothing wrong
Like,
with it. It's just awkward.
My best friends are gay.
Who are your best friends?
Wow.
Someone at this table. Why is Toby looking at me? No, it's a Seinfeld joke. Come on, guys. Come on,
Yeah,
guys.
okay, anyway.
I did get
friends are
it, but
gay.
it was way funnier
My
having the
father's gay.
awkward.
Well, this
Yeah.
is one of the problems I had with this is I was reading it because
No,
I've been
they've
reading,
been kissy for a while.
The thing
but
is I've read
whatever.
Thor and I've enjoyed Thor, but I'm not reading Avengers, so I have really no idea what's going on with that.
Here's the thing. Here's the
that
thing.
book.
Here's the thing. For all you Sam Nee, that doesn't work because that's actually the artist. How about Jam? For all you Jam shippers out there,
What are you even
for all
doing?
you Jane and
He's trying
Sam
to combine
shippers, they call them Jam.
Foster and Sam Wilson.
Oh, they
They
do.
call them Jam.
They do.
Yeah,
do they?
yeah. They call them Jam.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, because otherwise it'd be Samney, and that's the artist. Or Sane, Sane. For all you Jam shippers out there, be aware this is not going to be a thing in 6 months because he's going to be Falcon, and who knows what they're going to do with Jane Foster. I can't imagine they're going to keep this relationship around.
Why are you
I don't know.
still
It's weird.
talking about this?
Why?
Because she's gonna die.
Yeah.
And he's gonna go back to Cap. Once they're not in
he's
the
gonna be
spotlight
Falcon,
anymore,
and-
they're not gonna have that
Right, and no one will
relationship
care.
anymore.
Right, exactly.
So
Yeah.
why are you still talking about this?
Number 8, Tony Stark got up and walked away.
Well, did he
He
get up and walk away?
Or
I
we
mean,
don't
he
know.
just disappeared.
He was in a coma. Now he's gone. Maybe he's coming back.
Between frames.
Under mysterious circumstances, very eyebrow raising.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued and want to buy it all. Said probably not very many people, but I do like the intrigue and I'm interested in where they go with it.
So here's where Toby gets mad at me. I mean, my interest in an Ironheart book is 0. All right.
Did you say Troby?
Toby?
Am I the only one that heard that?
This is where Toby gets mad at me. My interest in an Ironheart book is 0. But my interest in an Iron Man book with Ironheart being a sidekick or a co-star, I'm curious to see. I will read the current Iron Man arc to see how they bring Tony back in 4 issues.
Wait, are you a big Ironheart fan?
Yeah.
What was
I
that?
guess I can
I couldn't hear you. Could you speak into my good ear, Toby?
I guess I can actually turn the mic on. Toby, you can turn your mic on. Hello. Hello. So number 7.
Wow.
Magog is coming. I mean, Mangog is coming.
Oh.
I'm assuming Mangog is like an actual thing from something, and Magog is actually a thing too. Like, I know it's a thing.
So they first dropped that name. I mean, I want to say over a year ago.
I feel like it's been a while.
But they haven't given us any like hint as to what it is or who that person is.
Yeah.
I'm still annoyed that it's so close to Magog and it's supposed to be a big bad. But my annoyance aside, which is quite petty, yeah. I mean, Jason Aaron has done a great job with the Thor mythos. He is innocent until proven guilty. He is awesome until proven otherwise.
Let's see. Deadpool's a wanted man, even though he's been obeying the commands of Captain America, who is the head of America. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, whatever. Deadpool's a villain again, I guess. That's cool, because, I mean...
No, he's not.
Who cares?
That's fake news.
Well,
Hashtag fake news.
if Uncanny Avengers is going away, he's not a part of that. If he's going to be a bad guy again, cool.
Supposedly hunting Cable.
Yeah, for some reason.
If there was one page in this whole book that made me almost laugh out loud, it was that page. So there's that.
Where he's pooping and they're coming after him, or he's sitting on the toilet.
Where he's sitting on the can in some dive restaurant, and he's pretending that he's in confession.
Yeah,
in the confessional.
Yeah,
hilarious. So funny.
Maybe someone here can tell me more about this because I don't. What Norman Osborn was trying to break into Doctor Strange's.
Yeah,
so that's the Amazing Spider-Man.
Also. Is that just the most recent issue?
Yes.
Okay. Literally the one issue I haven't read. They must have talked about this. Okay, excellent.
Just like the Deadpool story. It seems like you're not catching up. You're not caught up on a ton of Marvel shit. You're shocked by all these storylines.
I haven't read a comic called Deadpool since 1998.
Oh, really? Well, that's very much not in line with your alternate persona, Ryan Higgins Gwenpool.
I probably read the first couple issues of the
Dugan stuff.
No, I didn't read any of that. Fuck, no way. I probably read the first couple issues of the Daniel Way stuff.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. So why the hell does Norman Osborn care about magic? What a weird...
Well, he tried technology. He tried beefing himself up. He died.
Well, okay.
Why are you so upset? He wants more power. What?
Parker, through nanites, took away Norman Osborn's ability to basically take the serum and emerge the Goblin persona.
Okay.
So he went on the same quest that Doctor Strange basically went on to try and reclaim the Goblin, basically.
Okay.
And
that's really stupid.
Turned away.
Dude, you are such a troll. If this was a DC book, you'd be like, oh my god,
biggest thing of all time.
Oh god, I got it. Oh, tell me more. That sounds like such an incredible story.
Just in my pants.
Oh my god, is it called Spider-Man Dark?
All I kept thinking about when Charlie was talking about that just now was Extinction.
Why don't you just bring Norman Osborn back and have him just be fucking Green Goblin again?
That's what he's trying to do, basically.
Yeah, what the fuck? They're going to get there. What is your problem that that's how they get there?
Because technology has failed him.
Yeah, technology failed him. He's using magic. What are you hung up on?
It's like that beast trying to figure out the cure and going and finding trying magic.
Just make him normal for a little while. That's my complaint. It's why don't you just make him normal for a little while?
Charlie, can I use your hammer?
That would be too legacy.
Maybe. So number 4.
You guys are in your own little troll bubble over here.
So I don't know where he got this from. Maybe it says it inside the book. I don't remember. But the Celestial is known as the Fallen. But he does have a thing here where he's talking about he needs to summon the final host. And now again, I'm curious where they're going to go with the Celestial stuff because this obviously is not in. I don't believe it's going to be in Thor. It could be, but I don't know where they're going to follow up for this is going to be. But I hope to find out soon. I do want to see where they go with all this. I'm
hoping they can make the Celestials interesting.
It's going to be...
I love the Celestials.
But they haven't really stuck in the last few times they've done them.
Well, they don't do any... I don't even... Well,
I
am knocking on Neil Gaiman's run.
That was forever. That was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, but they haven't done the Eternal stuff.
That's way out of continuity. That's its own thing. But the hell is a Celestial even shown up in anything? Oh, the very start of Civil War 2, right?
What?
Wasn't that a Celestial?
Okay, so you're also not caught up on Ultimates too.
No, not really.
Jesus Christ! How are you even running a comic book shop, sir? Hand this over to Toby right now. It will be.
I read 12 Marvel comics.
Yeah, fucking every other month, and they're all called The Adventures of Squirrel Girl.
Oh, I'm way behind on Squirrel Girl.
Oh wow!
Oh, then it's Gwenpool.
Yeah. What's the mea culpa for you? Would it be Ua culpa?
Ua culpa.
Anyway, yeah, they had an awesome arc with the first Firmament Charlie killing off all the Celestials except for one, and
the Fallen one. Or another one.
That Ultimate stuff is just going to be just swept all under the rug. I'm never going to mention it.
Totally
again.
disagree. They're going to give Guardians of the Galaxy to Al Ewing. It's going to be not canceled. It's going to be incredible. He's going to discover the Infinity Stones, and he's going to have that one Celestial be a progenitor.
We'll get to Infinity Stones. Number 3. Yeah, for some reason there's a Wakandan intergalactic empire. Why? That's real dumb.
So
real
this,
dumb.
by the way, happened.
This is all payback too for that legacy or for that rebirth special. By the way, no, totally not. But I actually enjoy this book. But that Black Panther.
I actually had a great idea when I was reading this story about coming back and telling you that like I wanted to read it, but it was on my honeymoon.
But Charlie.
Look, this is why. Let me try to sell you on the idea.
And this isn't like a Muppet
right.
sketch. Wakanda's in space. Like I'm not trying to like make a joke here. Like it's just a dumb. I mean, sure, I guess.
Maybe that's where they're pulling the titles. Wakandans in space.
I mean, maybe
The Wakandans take Manhattan.
Yeah.
Honestly, it just reminds me a little bit of when the Inhumans went out into space, but it fit more with the Inhumans because of the Kree.
Yeah,
Okay, so which culture on the planet Earth is the most secretive in the Marvel Universe? Spoiler alert, it's the fucking Wakandans. And so if there's going to be an empire in the Marvel Universe that is the most secretive, why couldn't it be the fucking Wakandans?
I'm sure Al Ewing's
Good
going to
point,
write
Bryce.
this book and it'll be canceled after 6 issues and never talked about again.
And it'll probably be fucking great while he's writing it. I mean, look, what I just said makes a lot of sense. If there's an intergalactic Wakandan empire that has been the most secretive empire in the universe, it would make sense that it's the Wakandan empire. And if there's like even more mythos behind the Wakandans, like, by the way, you've been reading fucking Wakandan stories and Black Panther stories for decades, and you've never said like, oh, you know, is it only vibranium? Like, why do only they have vibranium, and why are they so like unbelievably advanced beyond every other culture in the like on the planet Earth? It's like, oh, could it possibly be because they have some intergalactic thing? Like, yeah, that actually is a perfect segue. If any culture in the Marvel Universe is going to have this like interplanetary community, why couldn't it be the Wakandans?
You know, I
feels like-
assumed it was closer to the Inhumans thing where the Inhumans went off into space. I did not actually consider that they would have had a intergalactic presence throughout time.
It feels like something they would have mentioned before.
But you
that
like
would be
where I'm
more
going,
interesting.
but you like
that
where
would
I'm
that
going.
would make it more interesting. I will give you that.
You're welcome.
It feels like something they would have mentioned before, or maybe run into.
I don't know. All I keep
Well, the
screaming
Avengers
is
are-
But dude, what about the whole fact that they are the most secretive culture in the Marvel Universe? That's not floating with you. They would have run into them before because the Wakandans aren't good at like keeping to themselves. What the fuck?
I don't know. It just seems like a whatever story. It's Black Panther. Nobody reads it anyway. So again, here's an arc. Here's a something that we talked about very early on. Wolverine coming back. He's number 2. Yeah, Wolverine and Loki both going after the same thing. Now, of course, I'm gonna, it's gonna kind of grate on everyone. But they have to now keep calling it an Infinity Stone. They're no longer Infinity Gems. They're now Infinity Stones. But Wolverine and Loki are chasing after an Infinity
So can
Gem.
we call them kidney gems?
So I'm just going to keep calling them a gem. They're not stones, they're gems. But
Is that why you were giving me the stink eye earlier?
Why?
I didn't realize. Did I call it a stone and you were like, oh, it's a...
No.
Anyway,
They're called stones in the book, and it's
wait a minute. So,
The blue one does what again, Charlie?
if there's anything that sort of annoyed me about this issue, it was like, since when the fuck does Wolverine care about Infinity Gems?
well, it depends on what he's doing it for, right?
They're stones.
What I like too that is in the box is called like P. What is it?
Well, he had a lot of time to think about shit.
For 1939, right? So I mean,
Statue.
39 is
Good point, because
early
you know
modern
in his
stuff.
like adamantium casing, he's been fucking thinking about shit for days.
Yeah.
He's thinking about when I get out. So yeah, so for 1939. So there's got to be some significance that I'm just not smart enough to understand with 1939.
Isn't that Marvel Comics number 1? Was 1939, I believe.
I would not be surprised at all. I do believe you. Yeah, it's also kind of ridiculous. Wolverine's no freaking mastermind.
Well,
that
we
he's
don't
driving
know.
his beer truck and
We
he's
don't
going to
know
go like catch the frost
sent
giant
him
that
or
escapes with the.
If I had to make a guess, I'm guessing Jean Grey Phoenix sent him.
Yeah, we don't know why he's there or who sent him. So
By the way, if I'm getting misty about any page in this whole book, it's the fucking Jean Grey reveal where she says she's glad to have him back or whatever. That was awesome.
it's Kid Jean Grey, but close enough.
But the way they draw her, because that artist makes everybody look like 40 years older than they are.
So
man can
the
dream.
Guardians comic is going to be the focus of the Infinity Gauntlet stuff and the Infinity Gem. So
Sure, there was like 2 panels on that, yeah.
right, but in the solicitations for upcoming stuff, that's where the focus is going to be.
Got it.
So, of course, now the big one. The big one being, the narrator of the entire book is Valeria Richards.
Okay, it's the time gem. That's what.
Is that the time gem?
That's the time gem. So it's it's the connection with Wolverine is from the Age of Ultron garbage.
Alex Alonso was teased that...
Not very well.
What does Franklin and Valeria's return mean for Marvel Universe's first family? Keep reading. Start with Marvel 2-in-1, where half of them will form an Ultimate Buddy book. And so I kind of assume maybe that we'll see some element of the FF. Maybe 2-in-1 will be the story where they
they tease
fashion
that as
come
the
back.
fate of the four.
Right.
So is that just going to roll into becoming Fantastic Four?
Don't know.
Wait, Marvel 2-in-1, that's got to be just Ben and Johnny, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
it's
Ben.
Ben.
It's Ben and Johnny. It's written by
Al Ewing.
no, written by Chip Zdarsky.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah, he should do a really good job. I'm really excited for that book. So hopefully that will lead into the return of FF. Now, of course, they could take the Marvel 2-1 numbering, add that to the FF title, and we'll get FF 800 or whatever, and in next summer or something, or 700.
I'm just envisioning Journey into Mystery and Thor.
They just go back and forth.
And they're going to go back and forth, and I'm going to hate them for it.
So that's Legacy. Again, you hear me complain about a few things I didn't really care about, but overall, I think the story was very well written. I think Jason Aaron's a fantastic writer. They have absolutely killer art in this title. If you're feeling like you've been missing out on a lot of these characters, they're in here. I think there is hope for the Marvel Universe yet.
But we still don't know where hope is.
We already know that a number of these books are either ending or they're not going to be around much longer. So even though a bunch of these books that are part of Legacy, I'm pretty sure a lot of these books are getting kind of axed on the side over the course of the next couple months. In which case, I'm assuming we'll get a few other books launched, which hopefully means we'll get a Wolverine title. We'll get maybe that something where they can do an Avengers 1 million BC. I know that Ghost Rider, that Spirits of Vengeance book, is going to have Ghost Rider and original Ghost Rider. Sorry, Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, not the Man on the Horse Ghost Rider, as well as Blade and a few other big characters coming back.
Well, apparently the original one is the guy on the Mastodon.
Yeah, not even original. We don't know.
Exactly, we don't know.
And
how awesome is that Ghost Rider, riding
it's awesome.
woolly mammoth?
Yeah,
how
it's cool.
fucking awesome is that?
Super cool.
I've never cared about Ghost Rider, but that is a Ghost Rider I can get behind, and I do mean get behind.
There's a lot of dung back there.
On the woolly mammoth as we ride through the Savage Land.
And I should note that
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
we are doing what we did for Rebirth here. I'm treating this very similar, where all current subscribers, get a free copy of Marvel Legacy. So come pick your copy up if you're a subscriber. It's in your box already. We are going to be selling this $6 comic for the low price of $2.99 ongoing. The variant covers are obviously cover price or whatever they are if they're marked up. But the traditional main cover is going to be $2.99. So swing by the store and pick it up. We have boxes of them, so they're going to be here for you to pick up for months. We'll have them. If you like some of these books, if you're a subscriber, or obviously if you go to another comic store, I cannot stress this enough because I talked with many other retailers and we all feel very similar about this. There is not a lot persuading retailers to order extra of upcoming comics. A lot of these books are by the same creative teams. A couple of the arcs feel like they're going to be stronger. So there's a few that I have increased my orders by a couple copies. But if you're really excited for these titles coming up,
you need to let them know ASAP.
Yeah, you really, really need to let us know because every store is going to not every. Many stores will have a lot of extra copies of all the books in October, whether it's the lenticulars or all the variants or just getting a few extra copies for the value stamp or whatever. Come November, those 28 books or whatever that are premiering that month in October. Come November, I'm getting 2 copies of Gwenpool this month. I'm getting 58 copies next month, and I'm getting 2 copies a month after that. That's just the way a lot of these books are going to go. So
that's that Marvel math for you.
If you want to jump on these titles, for the love of God, please let us know because otherwise we're going to be selling out of everything, and we want to get you your books. So again, if your local comic shop, if you have a subscription, please sign up for this stuff so stores can adjust their orders because again, I don't think that there's a lot of faith in the ongoing titles gaining any significant readership post-Legacy. I would love to be 100% wrong, but I'm not betting the store on it. So,
well, I mean, for me, that's one of the things I didn't get out of this was kind of, if I handed this to somebody and they read it, they go, that I don't know if there'd be a lot of interest in checking out Marvel. Maybe an interest in checking out.
But even if one thing piques your interest,
just
that's the thing, is let the stores know. All right, we got a shit and a half load of questions here. I'm going to hit a few of these up.
Wait, did you guys talk about Mr. Miracle #2 last week?
No, we didn't talk about it.
Can we fucking talk about how awesome it was?
I will never stop you from talking about a good DC book.
Dude, Mr. Miracle...
It's incredible, huh?
Has been, like, #2 was just as good as #1, and you're fucking high if you think that #1 was the best book of the year. It was incredibly good, but you're crazy. But #2 was just
crazy,
like,
right?
We'll agree to disagree. But yeah, #2 was fucking awesome. So, spoilers for Mr. Miracle #2. If you don't want to be spoiled on Mr. Miracle #2, fast forward for 90 seconds, because Ryan will cut me off. Do you think Scott Free is actually Darkseid's son? It's all in his head, right? That's crazy. He can't be Darkseid's son.
Well, I mean, are you talking about
Mr. Miracle #2
in real continuity, in regular continuity?
Isn't this book take place in regular continuity?
I mean, I think so.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, so Scott Free was.
I mean, this isn't like a new story or anything.
Scott Free is the High Father's
Right.
son.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god! If you're gonna explain to me all this shit, I'm gonna fucking slap you. I understand. I get that.
Okay, so he's in this sense, yes and no.
Well, he's Highfather's son, and Orion is Darkseid's son, and they switch kids. Highfather gave
Right.
Mr. Miracle
Yep.
to...
Yep. The what was that versus card? The High Bargain or whatever the fuck it was called. But
so this is like long established
right
continuity.
So Granny Goodness at the end of #2 says that he can only be killed by his son.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they mean his actual... I mean, you're talking about like, the Darkseid, that he's going to kill Darkseid.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they think it's Orion, but it's actually going to be Mr. Miracle.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, possible. I don't think that means he's actually his like, biological son.
Okay, I guess what I mean more is, do you think that this is all in his head, or do you think this is actually happening? Because I think this is all in his head, but, I mean...
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I mean, this fucking story is awesome.
Yeah, it's been really good.
What is this Darkseid is? What is this? Why did they keep saying this?
Well, that comes back from Grant Morrison's...
Rock of Ages.
Yeah, Rock of Ages.
It's the Martian Manhunter cover 13.
Well, I mean, he says it throughout the entire thing. Darkseid is like... sort of like a mantra that takes over the minds of people. And he, like...
Darkseid is all.
Yeah, he is.
He just is.
All of existence,
Okay.
Darkseid is.
It is Darkseid. Darkseid is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this sort of causes the people... God, it's such a long time since I've read it. I don't know if they really explain it. And obviously has something to do with the anti-life equation, I'm sure, trying to control the minds of people. But yeah, he is... all of creation is Darkseid if you are ruled and subjugated by him.
Got it. Okay, so next question. How fly is Barda?
Oh, Big Barda's fucking incredible.
Yeah, she fly. She def fly.
Oh, everyone loves
Bryce
Barda.
likes him a big Barda.
Okay, what else do I have? How fucking awesome is Tom King? Who's the artist? He's also so amazing.
Oh, Mitch Gerdas. Yeah.
He just had a baby.
Mitch.
Gerdas.
Shout out to you, Mitch. Hey, Mitch. Great job on the baby. Congratulations on procreating.
Wrong Mitch, but cool.
No, right, Mitch. I was talking about Mitch Gerdas, the artist on Mr. Miracle. Okay, so what else do I want to talk about? I want to talk about how awesome Secret Empire Omega was. It was actually really good. Andrea Sorrentino. Apparently he does the layouts for all of his art. I thought that it was dictated by the artist a little bit. I guess I was wrong, because in Old Man Logan it was amazing. I assume that everything he's done prior has been amazing. But the layouts that he did for Omega had some awesome... Like, I've never actually taken Red Skull seriously until I saw some of Sorrentino's work. That was a great issue. If you haven't read it, it's much more highly recommended than any other Omega or after-the-fact book of any big story arc.
Even some of the X-Men ones?
The 10 out of 10, the A+, the golden cherry, if that's a thing, goes to Age of Apocalypse Omega, because that was the best Omega that has ever existed and will ever exist.
Well, but that wasn't a after the fact issue.
Well,
that
it was an Omega, Charlie, so go fuck yourself.
Next question.
What? You mean first question? Wait, no, I'm not even done. Let's talk about some fucking comics. I'm talking about comics. Don't you guys like comic books?
Let's get some. We've been talking about a comic the entire show.
Yeah, and I'm trying to bring up other comics.
If we're going to talk about comics, then why don't we just do random picks now?
No, because
Charlie
wouldn't
brought
be
it.
my random picks. But by the way, I do like random picks. But I just want to talk about comics. Can a man talk about comics? Can I read about comics? Metal #2 was great. How has Marvel not been able to be like? I don't even know who they would do, but DC is like, our only good character is Batman. Let's just have a Justice League of Batman. Oh, give this guy a raise.
Evil Batman.
And by the way, the Red Death was awesome. Metal has been like good so far, even though it's kind of confusing because it's like, if you haven't been following DC, because it's like, okay, wait. So we're just bringing what 80s readers of DC like thought always existed. Like all this stuff I guess didn't exist. But Metal has been great. Red Death was really cool.
How did you like that he strapped Flash to the Batmobile?
Oh, it was like a bat tank, and he like used the speed or he like used the whatever Eternity treadmill,
cosmic treadmill.
Thank you, cosmic treadmill, to like do it, and the Red Death Batman has always got Barry's like voice in his head. Oh, it's so good, it's really good. I'm so excited for the other evil Batman, other evil Justice League. Whatever the fuck they're called, it's crazy. How many more evil versions of the Justice League do we need? But whatever, it's good. So let's keep that going. What else has been good? Astonishing X-Men and X-Men Gold. Shout out to Marvel for being fucking awesome. Thumbs up to them. What else, guys? Thor's been great. Basically everything Marvel does is
so Bryce is just taking care of all our random picks this week.
Kite Man is how did I not bring this up earlier? Will somebody please fucking call Tom King and tell him that the war of jokes and riddles can fucking end already? I've been reading this shit for
barely started. What are you talking about?
I've been reading this shit for like 3 years, and it's like the latest issue that I'm reading is like
hasn't there been
the War of Jokes and Riddles interlude. The War of Jokes and Riddles interlude. What the fuck does it need an interlude for? It's been going on for several years. I feel like I feel like I was a young man when this fucking story arc started.
It's been like 6 issues.
Has it even been that long?
Yeah, it's been like
it's been at least that long, and there's been not one but 2 interludes. Bro, how many fucking interludes do you need in this story?
Dude, if you're about Kite Man, 100?
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible.
Oh, my fucking... Go fucking GFY, my man. Look, I really like Tom King, but this story arc is like, such a non... I wouldn't say it's a non-starter. That's disingenuous.
This is King's 0 year.
When Bruce Wayne sits down to dinner with what's his face, Riddler and Joker. That's a good issue. But dude, I have been reading this for almost a year. The War of Jokes and Riddles. That is actually not exaggerated.
No,
I was going to say apparently Bryce had got his hands on copies of.
No, but I just got to the second interlude. It's like, why do you need an interlude? Stop with this story arc. Just tie it up. He's a great writer. Just tell your story. Why do you need an interlude? This story's been going on for way too long.
Kite Man.
So
you guys are crazy. Kite Man has been in like 1 issue of this shit.
Kite Man's been in a lot of them.
No, he's been in 2. Total of 2. Confirmed. Bryce is right.
So while I understand you going off about calling it an interlude, it did not feel like an interlude.
That's the thing. It's not an interlude at all. It's the exact same story. I don't know why he bothers calling it an interlude. It's like, bro, just call a spade a spade. It's just more of your story. He's don't get me wrong. He's a great writer, but this story has just please fucking sew it up.
Well,
okay.
I totally disagree with you, but that's okay.
So can you fucking stop playing your Marvel app and like
Never.
like have somebody else other than me talk? For the love of God,
can I ask
everybody.
him?
Listening to
Well, I
this
mean-
is
Well, I'm
saying-
trying to get Ryan to do questions.
Can you talk about the War of Jokes and Riddles? I would love to actually talk to somebody. Higgins is like over there looking at like anti-DC propaganda or anti-Marvel propaganda. Brock is
waiting
thinking
to
of
do
his,
questions.
Brock is thinking of his next joke. Toby is fucking like asleep over there. Charlie, you're playing your Marvel app. Will somebody else?
I mean, War of Joker Riddles is incredible. It's Joker, it's Riddler, it's Kite Man. Like, it feels like it's barely started.
Okay, can
like,
you guys explain
It can
one-
seriously go on for another 18 issues. I don't understand the complaint. It's been fucking incredible.
So, can you explain to me? I thought that Riddler, and this is just my DC noobness. I thought that he was like a good guy. Now I thought that he was like on the
This
side
takes
of the
place in
police.
the past.
Oh,
That was my confusion when it first
I
started
think that
too.
you guys actually already told me this, and
Yeah,
I
because
already
he's
said,
telling this.
"Oh,"
He's
at
telling
a
the
different
story.
point in time.
He's
Yeah.
telling the story to Selena.
the hell's Riddler a good guy?
He's
In
like
Gotham
helping the
City
police. I don't know
Sirens.
if I would say a good guy, but he helps the police.
When he
This
was
is definitely
doing
happening
the
in New 52.
private
Private,
detective
yeah.
stuff
Gotham
there
City
for a
Sirens,
while.
he was-
I have a
he was
lot
good.
of hero clicks of the Riddler as a good guy, so
Yeah,
confirmed.
That stuff is really bad. Like, I know
The Gotham City Sirens?
that hasn't existed in New 52 or current. No, Riddler's a bad guy. Like
Oh.
that stuff doesn't count anymore.
Okay, well, I like his like slick back hair where he was looking like some sort of Goomba, and also like he carves a question mark into his chest. Is that like has he had that forever?
No.
That's why I thought it was new, is because it's like I'm sure that I've seen Riddler shirtless. You know, I'd like to think so, but never saw the question mark or carved into his own chest. Anyway, the last issue was good, but it just feels like to me, great writer. Story's going on too long. Fucking wrap it up. Like what are they?
It's baffling. It's baffling.
What are they even fighting about?
They haven't
Ryan?
even started.
What are they fighting about?
They're fighting because Riddler wants part of the town and Joker wants part of the town, and they can't.
They're fighting because Riddler went to Joker and basically went, if we work together, we can kill Batman. And Joker said, fuck you, I don't work with
Yeah.
anyone, and tried to kill him, which launched the war between the Joker and Riddler.
Okay, and now they've had that war for like 8 issues.
6 and 2 interludes.
Six,
it
six
hasn't
and
even
2
been
interludes.
that long. It hasn't even been that
fuck!
many.
I'll check. Jesus.
Brock's gonna check.
Anyway, we have some questions
Wait,
to read.
Can you allow me any insight into like so what has happened? They're fighting. Literally nothing has happened.
They're
the issue
fighting.
with-
All the villains have kind of chosen sides,
Yeah,
and Batman
yeah.
himself ended
Yeah.
up having to choose
And
a side
the plot
because
here is that he's saying that he's telling Catwoman that, like, I made a fucking mistake way back in the day, and I never really admitted to it, and I'm going to talk about it. I have to get this
So
out
the
of my
combined
chest.
nature of what you two guys just said basically over encapsulates what's like happened and could be done in a single issue. Like villains choose sides. Batman is saying this happens in the past, and I've made a huge mistake, and they've been fighting.
But dude, like the
That's like-
Deadshot,
that's like-
the Deadshot Deathstroke, was it Deadshot?
Yeah, Deadshot,
Yeah.
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke
That was
yeah,
awesome.
That was great.
That was great. It was great. It was great.
Kite Man's just like, you know, like he's the only hero, or he's the only, it's like all those 1-page stories where he's like the last villain working with the Joker still, and he's like, oh my god, oh no, it's so good.
I mean, I don't know.
We started at issue 25.
Yeah,
And
it's
we're
a
on issue 31.
30. Okay,
So it's 6 issues.
yeah,
So it's been 6.
doesn't even feel
so
like
it's been 3 months.
yeah, it feels like it just started because of this double shipping stuff. I feel like it hasn't even gone. I mean, we had Zero Year for like 11 months.
Yeah.
This is just started.
Okay, so it's double shipping. I didn't know that. It was
Yeah,
double
all the
shipping.
Batman stuff is double
I
shipping.
just thought I was behind. Okay, so-
Ulysses has a question. His question is, where's Bryce? Bryce is right over there.
Ulysses, my man. Ulysses, I'm right here. And don't let Tom King's War of Jokes and Riddles get you down, man. Apparently it's only been out for 3 months instead of 30 months, which is what it feels like, Ulysses.
Ulysses has another question. Bryce will have a good answer for that.
Oh, guaranteed.
The Justice League test screenings are getting positive feedback. You guys hyped or optimistic? Oh yeah, hyped, baby.
This is my problem with Justice League. Is that
Everything.
If this movie is awesome, Higgins is going to be like, oh yeah, Zack Snyder, oh, he's the best.
I'm gonna rub it in your face. We're gonna have like 9 podcasts about it if it's awesome.
And if it's bad, Higgins is going to be like, oh "Oh, pouty Ryan Higgins. Oh, Joss Whedon. People are going to complain that Joss Whedon messed with it, but no, there's a conspiracy against DC movies."
See, I don't even let Bryce talk about Spider-Man: Homecoming. We're gonna have like 9 episodes about Justice League. It's gonna be great. I can't wait.
Oh my god, Spider-Man: Homecoming was fucking incredible.
Remember we had two podcasts about Rebirth? That's funny how that works.
Is it funny?
Jason asks, I want to see a badass Alfred book. Do you know if there's anything out there like that? Yes, Batman Earth 1. The Jeff Johns. I mean, it's not specifically a...
Well, he's been pretty awesome in All-Star.
The backup stuff in All-Star, right? Oh, no,
it's
the main story.
The main story
the
right
first
now.
Ally stuff.
Yeah, and the current arc, not the first arc, the current arc.
The current arc.
Yeah.
But he's a pretty badass Alfred in Batman Year 1, too.
Oh, yeah.
Or Batman Earth 1, sorry.
Yeah.
Earth 1. Yeah.
When are we getting Volume 3 of that?
I don't know. Going to be a while because of Doomsday Clock. Or maybe it'll come out. Maybe he's already been working on it this whole time. I don't know. Time Lord asks, on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you excited for Saturn Girl on Supergirl? I think you heard us talk about it earlier, so 10 out of 10.
Shit, I
So
could
excited.
sense your giant boner behind the counter.
Well, similar question. Cisco says, do you think we'll get any other characters besides Lightning Lad and Cosmic Boy? Do you think Supergirl will go to the future or the Legion comes back to the past? I mean, I don't know.
They'll bring the Legion to the past because it's financially easier to do on the TV show.
If they're going to show the future, it's going to be like the
Brief.
season finale or the
yeah.
mid-season finale. And
We didn't talk about the crossover. The 4-part crossover between the shows. It's Earth X. They're going to be punching Nazis in the face, and there was an awesome poster by...
That poster is awesome.
It is. It's an old JLA JSA, like an homage to an old JLA JSA poster by...
You should definitely talk about your
Phil Jimenez.
CW teenage TV network show instead of Spider-Man: Homecoming, because that's
We
way
already
more
talked about
exciting.
Spider-Man: Homecoming. Yeah, that's months ago.
Well, it didn't get enough time because that movie was awesome.
Yeah, you just watched it, right?
Yeah,
It was
it was
good.
great.
Yeah, it was really good.
Did that come out on Blu-ray?
it comes out very, very soon.
Yeah,
It probably just came out digitally.
Oh, okay.
He gave me a way to pronounce his name, so now I know how. Future superstar artist Justin Grosjean.
Rojan.
He says it's
Grosjean.
Grow like Grow, and Jean like Jean-Luc Picard. So Justin Grosjean.
Man, that guy can tease like there's
Besides
no
working
tomorrow.
on a Sweet Toby piece.
Jesus, can you guys stop with the booty comments on Twitter?
I didn't do
It's
it.
so annoying. It
he
is
said-
so annoying.
He says in the Legion of Superheroes, what's the best run and where's a good jumping on point? Well, I've mentioned this a number of times. One of my absolute favorite is a fairly modern book. It's called Superman and the Legion of Superheroes. It's by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, people were just talking about, which is sort of the just prior to New 52 reintroduction of the Legion of Superheroes as like the classic take on them. You know, if you go back and read the versions from the 50s and 60s and 70s, it might not work for a lot of modern day people. It got kind of weird in the 80s, and a lot of that stuff's not collected.
The Wade stuff's pretty good.
Yeah, but it's the third boot. It's the 3 boot.
3 boot. Well, the Final Crisis one, Legion of the Three Worlds, is really good, but it's a really confusing place to start.
Yeah,
I will attest to that.
Yeah, read Superman and the Legion of Superheroes. I find is the most accessible book.
Is that trade in print, or do they have a?
It should be. It should still be available. And then you can kind of go wherever. I don't. If you haven't read a lot of Legion, I don't know what Legion of Three. I mean, I thought it was one of the greatest books I've ever read, but I don't know what you'd get out of it if you haven't read.
Because that was the first Legion book I read.
And
I was confused as fuck.
I can understand that.
But I was curious as all hell to read the
Yeah.
other stuff. So I've read the Mark Waid stuff since.
Yep.
And I've read the stuff that it became Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes.
That's Mark Waid stuff. That's the same stuff.
That's the tail end.
Same run. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I read the New 52 stuff, which is okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
So, next question.
Tyler Wiltis asks, other than JSA and Legion, what title that isn't being published would you like to see published? Marvel or DC? He says Avengers is being published even if you don't like it.
And confirmed, Tyler, he doesn't like it.
That's a good question. I mean, really, X-Men and Uncanny X-Men is X-Men Blue and Gold, so like those books are being published, right? I mean...
I want X-Force to come back. I love the
Yeah.
fact that Shatterstar is coming back to cable. Love that.
Yeah, there isn't like a real traditional... there's not like an X-Force...
I mean, I'm
right
pretty
now.
surprised because that shit went tits up when that terrible writer got a hold of it, X-Force.
Yeah.
But X-Force before Cy Spurrier got a hold of it was awesome under Remender. It was like a renaissance.
Yeah, the Remender stuff is real good.
And by the way, like totally, actual cinema material.
Well, I like this stuff prior. The more black.
It's Chris Yost.
The Yost stuff that was
really good too.
Oh,
they're both really good. They're both really good.
Yeah. I keep thinking in my memory that Remender did the whole thing, but you're right.
No, Yost did that first.
The Kyle Craig and Chris Yost stuff,
which I really enjoyed that one.
Kyle Craig, whatever the fuck.
Craig Kyle.
They're always like a duo.
Yeah,
or not always, but when they're at their best. Yeah. So yes, you're right.
I'm missing me some Swamp Thing. I want a Swamp Thing comic. I need me a Swamp Thing comic right now. We need it.
Why don't they just call Metal like Batman : Metal? Like it's such a farce that they even pretend it's a DC or DC Universe book. It's just a Batman book.
Batman?
Metal.
Yeah, it's called Dark Knight Metal. It's a Batman book. All the one shots are called Batman blah blah blah. Like it's a Batman book. But it's
called Dark Knight Metal.
Yeah,
I thought it was just called Metal.
Dark Knight : Metal.
Oh,
or,
okay.
Yeah, or Dark Knights : Metal.
I thought it was just called Metal. Yeah, Batman is amazing, and the rest of your universe can suck it.
Marco asks, with the real Logan's return in Legacy #1, what do you
Spoiler alert!
What do you do with Old Man Logan?
Send him home.
Yeah.
Give him a happy ending for once. I mean, I don't know.
I'd like a happy ending.
We know.
We actually haven't seen Old Man Logan and traditional Logan in the same book yet.
No.
Yeah, I'm excited for when that happens. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to when they really Batman the fuck out of Logan, and they just like everything, like, because how many Robins are there? Like we need a book of like 10 real Logans.
Tim Drake's back today or back tomorrow. He's coming back from the lonely place of living, the Oz Effect crossover book.
Okay,
can't wait.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited for some Old Man Logan and Regular Man Logan interactions.
Regular Man Logan.
Well, I mean, I don't know what the fuck to call him. Yeah, that's got at least a year of good interaction in it.
Nah, I don't think they hang out. I think Old Man Logan. I think young Jean and Old Man Logan go back to their respective time periods when Phoenix comes back and Wolverine and Phoenix are here.
And then we get the relationship we've always wanted.
Yeah.
Jean Grey and Logan.
I would love that.
Psyche will be back soon.
Oh, man.
Mr. Dystopia.
You think Psyche will be back soon?
I think they'll all be back soon.
Right when they get along, he'll be back.
All right.
So
God damn it. Scott Summers, stay dead.
So they've already kind
What
of...
about Professor X?
But they all come back
I'm
soon.
sorry, Charlie. That was really rude.
Yeah. So my current theory, especially with the Phoenix Resurrection book, because we have the Quentin Quire, quote-unquote, Phoenix, we have the Thane Phoenix.
Thane. Fuck out of here. Fucking Thane.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Thane is awesome.
Have you not heard me? You've heard me
That-
bitch about Thane like 100 times. I hate Thane.
Yeah, but you're the big... Nobody listens to you. You're the biggest hypocrite on this podcast. You're a bigger hypocrite than, like, Toby even showing up and not talking to on a fucking podcast. Like, nobody listens to you, like, except for the worst trolls.
Thane.
Like, you complain about Thane but love Squirrel Girl. You hate Gwenpool but love every DC teenager. Like, what nobody's listening to you. Thane is awesome. The Thanos book has been fucking
His name
dope.
is Thane.
But
Like it's the
I don't know.
worst.
Understand how that's cackle worthy. Like,
The
why is that
worst.
funny?
It's the worst.
No, it's not
name.
the Thane thing. It's just how you guys are interacting.
I
It's
hate
hilarious.
Thane.
so
Go ahead, Charlie.
my main point I was trying to make there is they've already done a very good job of, between the Avengers vs. X-Men, that's where they had all the Phoenix Force. Like,
Phoenix
they've already
egg.
shown the
Yeah.
sort of like
Or
Phoenix
egg.
entity kind of split into all these different people at this point, including Cyclops that during Secret War showed up, still Phoenix endowed.
And never explained.
Never explained. I'm guessing within
Stop.
the
I don't want to hear it because you're right.
Phoenix Resurrection, a large part of that's going to be bringing the Phoenix Force all back together in Jean,
That'd be
which
great.
might also bring back Scott when she goes to reclaim a part of the Phoenix from his corpse.
Only after she had Nookie with Wolverine.
Maybe.
So wait, we're taking all these pieces and putting them back together? Didn't we just do that in Secret Empire?
This is a
little different.
little different, but
Mr. Dystopia asks, Y'all love Al Ewing as much as I do? I'm not even joking. That's what he says. I think he's got a bit of Hickman's perchance for complexity. Thoughts?
He does.
Look.
I don't know why you're such a hater, dude. Al Ewing is dope as shit.
I have had so many people, when I mean so many people, I mean like 6, because that's how many people read his comics. I've had so many people tell me
One of them's Bryce.
that I should love Al Ewing because he's like,
No, I don't.
he's British. He wrote for 2000 AD. He's written like, he writes kind of like Morrison. I've tried. I just never really cared about the vast majority of what he's done, and the little bits that I've read, I've been like, I was okay, but like I thought the first like 5 or 6 issues of Ultimates, the Ultimates before Ultimates 2 was good, and I was like, but then the story just kind of, I don't know, I didn't care anymore, and I just don't care about anything the guy does. And I've brought these guys up before. It's like Al Ewing. It's
Colin Bunn.
Colin Bunn.
Yeah,
Colin Bunn. It's who was the guy that did
Hoobastank.
what? Who was the guy that did?
Where the fuck did that come
I don't know. The dark recess in my memory.
Agents of
And it'll
Shield?
go back there.
no, Agents of Atlas. Who? Jeff Parker. Jeff Parker wrote like a ton of books, and I'm just like,
I've never heard of Jeff Parker. Sorry,
like
Jeff.
all these guys, like I put in like the same thing of like, I've never cared about anything any of them have done. And I'm not saying they're good or bad writers. It's just the content that they write about and the characters they deal with, I've never been interested in. You put Al Ewing on like The Avengers.
Dude, that's not the point. The point.
Maybe I'll read him and like him.
No, first of all, you will read him and you'll hate him because you're a troll.
You put him on U.S. Avengers with Red Hulk and fucking Starbrand or whoever else is on that dumbass book. I'm never going to pick this book up.
Well,
I'm just never going to read
Starbrand
it.
and Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I'm just never going to read it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that
Who else is in that book? I mean, Squirrel Girl's in it, but whatever.
I think the issue is that Bryce has. I mean, his point is he likes Al Ewing's Ultimate stuff, but again, I think the other point is it's again what material is he working on? Because he was doing Uncanny Avengers for a while, but
Al Ewing?
was it? Yeah, because
No, it was Dugan, right?
Yeah, no, he was never.
It was
What?
Remender than Dugan. I don't think Al Ewing was doing Uncanny Avengers.
Ewing never did.
okay, so it's the U.S. Avengers is what
You
it was.
see U.S.
Okay.
Avengers right now.
But
Yeah.
it's like you
I
take
mean,
him
I
on
could
a
be wrong, but I don't think he
you
did
take
it.
him on a serious book like Ultimates was trying to be, and you put him on a kind of jokey, shitty team book like USA Avengers. Nobody's real. I mean, who cares?
Okay, you're totally wrong.
I mean, I don't think.
Look,
US
he
Avengers-
was doing another
like-
book other than Ultimates. What other book was he doing? He was doing a second book.
Yeah, he's
Charlie knows.
written.
I don't know. I just know I love his Ultimates.
So anyway, Ultimates is not the only book he's been doing, but the reason that I think that he might not be like good for Avengers, whether or not he is good, is because like he's got this like great like capacity for scope. Like what he did on Ultimates was to be able to John's Light the encapsulate this whole like new trajectory that the Marvel Universe could take with all these celestial beings and the different paths that they could generate new stories, new avenues for content, and have this like whole new pantheon that he created that was like well written and able to be taken seriously. I'm not happy that he's on U.S. Avengers.
Okay,
But
here's the thing. Here are the books that Al Ewing has done for Marvel. Okay, Royals, U.S. Avengers,
by the way, Royals is not bad.
Ultimates 2, Rocket, Inhumans Prime, New Avengers, like the seventh New Avengers volume they did, the more recent one. Contest of Champions, that miniseries, Civil War Ulysses, Ultimates Omniversal, that's that one. Avengers Standoff, The Howling Commandos. Like, I'm not going to read any of those books.
Yeah, you just read a bunch of stuff that, I don't know. Okay, so you said he wrote 2080, so he's not young. I don't know, but he only caught my attention recently, and he's been fucking great.
No, I am apparently wrong because people love this guy. People tell me that I should love him too, and I just don't.
I'm not going to tell you. I don't want you touching Al Ewing because
you know what?
You're like your little strain will infect his.
You know
books.
what's going to happen? Since he doesn't write any profitable books for Marvel, that means Marvel doesn't care when DC takes him, and the DC's going to put him on Legion of Superheroes. And he's going to be he's going to be my favorite writer of all time.
No, get out of here! Get out of here! Only if we get your Wonder Woman director for Marvel movies.
This time next year, Al Ewing's going to be my favorite writer.
Yeah.
You remember this?
No, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. Legions of Superheroes. I'm going to love you so much.
Remember this?
I'm going to love you so much when this happens.
It's going to be like the next Tom King.
Oh, Ryan Higgins, why would you do that? Marvel, don't let him go. Don't let him go. Oh God, it hurts inside. It hurts so bad.
I will laugh so hard if that happens. I can actually see it. I mean, I can see it. Right? I can see this being. I can see this happening.
Be the perfect writer right now for Legion.
Dude, Marvel has more money than DC. How do they not be like Tom King? Vision's fucking incredible. Here's $1 million.
Because I gave him Batman. Marvel can't give someone Batman. That's the problem. Batman. That's a tough gig to turn down.
Yeah, that's tough. I was trying to think of a comeback. I got it.
Do you want to work for us? Maybe. What can you give us? Batman? Okay, I'll be right there.
That Detective Comics shit? No, actually Batman.
No, Batman. Okay.
Marvel. God damn it.
Reggie asks, what do comic stores do differently that make them seem to thrive? For the most part. Many are. While other brick-and-mortar stores are having trouble staying open.
Don't be a fucking asshole.
Well, we talked about this. Well, I don't know about that. But
Toby, ladies and gentlemen.
We talked about this last week when we were talking about Toys R Us, right? Just and Best Buy and these other companies where
customer service,
the ability to be small and move and do stuff like this, being able to do whatever we want to do and not have to deal with some corporate structure.
Well, yeah, it's being able to, like Charlie talked about, monitor what you're ordering, make sure you're getting what is going to sell, not ordering stuff that you already have on the shelf.
What's the question? Big stores versus little stores?
Well,
or just
what do they do to
stores
thrive?
Versus little stores? Little stores versus little stores.
Well, I think just it's other brick and mortar stores, but we were talking about Toys R Us last week. But I think it also is comics are a hot property now, so there is.
We're just talking about comic book stores. Don't be a fucking asshole. Be nice to people.
Yeah. No. You mean us versus other comic stores?
Yeah. I thought that's what the question was.
No, he means just other. Why are so many stores having trouble?
Oh, like mom and pop shops?
Just anything. And I think it's the material, right? I mean,
it's fucking
it's material.
Amazon.
It's also rents are going up everywhere.
Yeah.
Next question.
We have a handful of others. Let's end on this one. Let's end on Leonardo. His question, and we'll wrap it up after
Michelangelo?
this. His question is...
hanging out with Raphael and Donatello.
His question is,
God.
Random picks of the week?
Yeah!
So let's do some random picks. What Al Ewing book would you like to recommend, Bryce?
I would like to recommend The Spectacular Spider-Man by Chip fucking Zdarsky.
I need to catch up on that.
Who is the funniest writer in the comic book industry. If you have a chance, go Google his variant cover art.
Oh, that's great, huh?
Those are hilarious. Those will give you a taste of like. So here.
If you want to read Chip Zdarsky's best work, Google Chip Zdarsky versus Applebee's.
Confirmed?
Yeah, go read that.
Okay.
That's good stuff.
I will.
So I met him when he was on Isotope selling his indie press comic Prison Funnies forever and a year ago.
So you knew him before he was cool.
Before he was cool.
Got it.
So now that he's working in Marvel, who cares? But but when his DC work was really good. He actually did some DC work. He did a story in that Harley Quinn 25th anniversary.
It's probably called Ryan Go Fuck Yourself, and you probably loved it.
I think that's his first work for DC. I don't think he's done anything prior to that. Not to my knowledge.
What was the?
But Chip Zdarsky is great. I love him. He's such a good
so
writer.
funny. And if you want like you cannot find a better distinguishing factor of what is funny and what is not funny by reading a Chip Zdarsky book versus a Dennis Hopeless book. Because Dennis Hopeless will have like Magneto saying, "Get it, girl." And Chip Zdarsky will have Spider-Man making some like punny dad joke pop culture reference, which is so much more in line with what Peter Parker would do versus Magneto. Stop fucking having,
Random pick positively. Stay away from the negative.
Chip Zdarsky,
get away from
Spectacular
hope.
Spider-Man, 1, 2, 3, or 4. They're all fucking great. So start at 1. They're all really good. Go get them. Get them. Get it, girl.
Who else got one?
I could keep going if you guys are thinking.
No. Somebody say something, please.
No.
You're literally saying something.
I know.
Okay, well, my next one would be the Astonishing X-Men. 1, 2, and 3 are out, and they are all fucking amazing. I thought before reading issue 2 and 3 of Astonishing X-Men that Astonishing X-Men, there's no way that it could be as good as X-Men Gold. X-Men Gold is the fucking second coming of a good X-Men book. All X-Men books, astonishing, exceptionally, have been great about having old villains return. Which feels very Claremont-esque in terms of, I guess he created a bunch of them. But just having a bunch of the old villains return feels very, very nostalgic, very nice, instead of the meandering that X-Men have done largely for the past 2 decades. So I was sort of dismissive, a little derisive about Astonishing when it first came out, because I was like, okay, Phantom X and, well, first of all, I just can't take any team with Phantom X on it seriously at all. But I was like, okay, Astonishing. What? So Higgins is giving me the what the fuck look. Okay, look, no. I do love Phantom X. I love Phantom X like Higgins loves Squirrel Girl. I have an irrational love for Phantom X. But I don't take... Oh, by the way, I got asked to rank from coolest to lamest all the X-Men. And I am currently in the middle of making said list.
Oh, man.
So I
It's
have...
gonna be a special.
I have... It might fucking be. I have 3 tiers as a little teaser. My 3 tiers are actual X-Men, X-Men Family, and Can't Be Fucking Bothered, which I will amend for this family-friendly podcast to be Can't Be Bothered.
Are you gonna put Phantom X in the Can't Be Bothered list?
Well, you'll have to listen to the special to find out, or if I unleash it on the main podcast, I don't know. I guess that's kind of up to you. I guess you do know.
I've got a pick that I'm going to talk
finally.
about. A book that just came out, but is collecting old material, and I'm happy to see this in print, because everyone knows me and Toby's love of 90s Bat Family books.
It's Toby and my love.
Toby and my love.
There you go.
I and Toby's love.
Wait a minute. You stay with your justice and no one. Why are you coming over to my side?
You don't have a pick. It's fine. Just come out in graphic novel form recently is Catwoman Volume 1, Catwoman by Jim Ballant. Jim Ballant, sorry, book 1.
Valiant. Of Valiant Comics.
Jim Ballant, which is collects Catwoman 0 through 14, the Doug Mensch, Joe Duffy, and Jim Ballant. There's some other artists in there as well. But there's another classic Bat Family run, and it's really the only one that was missing from the 90s stuff. And now they're finally getting that collected. So every single Bat Family book, whether it's they did a couple Azraels, I think, right? But I think they did a couple Azraels.Maybe Azrael's the only one missing. But Catwoman, Birds of Prey, Nightwing, Robin, all of them have been collected now. So you have no reason to not read these. They're some of my favorite comics from the 90s, the Bat Family stuff.
The 90s was a golden age for golden gods.
Yes.
Brock, what you got? Grab something off the shelf.
Yeah, I wanted to recommend, because it comes out tomorrow, the first trade for Royal City from Jeff Lemire.
Yeah, Jeff Lemire, yep.
This collects issues 1 through 5. I started reading first issue, and I was really intrigued by what was going on with it, so I kept it going, and it's really, really good. He also actually gives playlists at the end of the single issues. I don't know if they put it in the trade.
Oh, nice.
Of music that he listens to. But I think he actually has Spotify playlists that you can listen to for those. But yeah, really, really enjoyed it. It actually made me go back and pick up Essex County, but I need to read. I haven't gotten a chance to read it yet. So, and there's another book in that kind of vein of stuff that he's done. But I really enjoyed Royal City. Yeah, so that's my pick, and it's out tomorrow or today. It's a new trade.
By the time I get home, it'll be today.
Yeah.
So it's not my pick, but don't they also have playlists for metal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will pick Charlie's fucking Hammer, which I have been molesting the entire podcast.
I don't think your mic's on, or not.
I will
think you
just
just
speak
too far
louder.
away.
I'll just speak louder. I will pick Charlie's fucking hammered up and molesting the entire podcast. It was
Toby,
cool.
Charlie has the Marvel Legends Thor hammer replica that has like USB and speakers and like voice command and a bunch of stuff. It's
Fuck,
pretty neat.
seriously? I've been trying to
Well,
turn this
it
shit on
doesn't-
the entire podcast. Obviously, I'm not worthy enough.
Yeah.
There's no batteries.
Oh, or that.
Yes, there's no batteries in it currently.
You're not wet enough?
Not worthy
And Toby just
enough.
hit the microphone with the hammer, so there you go.
Yes, now it's got sound effects.
Charlie, what's your pick of the week?
That's thunder, Charlie. Don't be insensitive.
Thunder. Like, Thundercats. Oh, wait. Wrong show.
Yeah, I was about to
Toby, you
say
can't actually
you
hear
almost
lightning.
butchered it, but
Science.
any
You're
event,
welcome.
I'm going to go with the DuckTales comic.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Number one just
you
came
what?
out this week.
Yeah.
Was out a few months ago, or a
Yeah.
few weeks ago.
I'm loving the new DuckTales show, so I'm happy they have a comic for it too.
The end.
It's never the end.
We can
right.
keep going.
Because we have an episode next week.
Christ and a half. No. We're way, way longer than we should be going right now. Although it's a Bryce episode, so I guess maybe it's kind of short. Thank you, everyone, for being on this podcast. It's on this podcast. Thank you, everyone else, for listening to this podcast. Toby's really trying to figure out how to place
You did
the hammer
perfectly
down.
fine
There you go.
every
You got
other
it.
time you
got
set it down.
Let's thank our good friends, Julie and Titus,
No pants!
with the Nerds of Love Pants podcast at pixelbit.com. Go listen to their
That was,
podcast.
Premature no pants.
Toby's going to be no pants soon.
Ryan Hess has Blowhards, a video game podcast at blowhards.libsyn.com. Jody Lawson has Canon, the Triad Comics Anthology at triadcomicsstudio.com, triadcomicsstudios.com. Also, Manoa Place, Sam Che, Talon Bray, Craig Anderson, Joe Duff, and Mario Miranda. Thank you guys all very much
Thank you.
for your monies. They're patreon.com/comic conspiracy. For as little as $1 a month, you can help support this podcast, and a little higher tiers, you get a shout out on this podcast. We'll pimp your stuff
And you make us do random picks.
and make us do random picks, and
Which
we
makes us
we'll send you
really
some
think.
trade paperbacks and everything. So again, patreon.com/comic conspiracy. Next week should be the beginning. You have a couple days left, but next week should be the first of the month, so we'll read off all the backers and everything next week. So you still got a few days to get in if you want to back us for the month of September or October. ComicSpiracyPodcast.com, Geekbox.net, and iTunes is where you can find this and all our previous episodes. Please rate and review us if you can. The Conspiracy at Geekbox.net, or the contact forum is where you can send us some long form questions. Patreon, .com/comicconspiracy. I already said that. Digital.comicsconspiracy.dig.
We have been recording too long.
Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz
You like
is
how
our
West uses
digital
fingers to make sure he does it
storefront where you can do where you donate some money. Well, you can donate some money, I guess, if you really want to, but more than likely you're going to buy digital comics on that site.
They've been having a lot of sales.
Yeah, a lot. ConspiratorBrock.com, that's Brock's blog and video pull list. Charlie has Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension, that's a Doctor Who podcast. And Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art, that is my wife Leanne, that is her Etsy store. You can buy some prints and
Any
stuff
update
her
on
from her.
the podcast crew?
No. So the print that she did, we looked into it, and now I just got to find the right place to get it printed. We are going to be printing out. It's not even 11 by 17. It's like 13 by 19. It's a
Yeah,
big
you said
print.
it was a big print.
Yeah, so we're going to get those printed. We're going to have those for sale on the Comics Conspiracy website. And we'll have links on the Facebook group and on Twitter and everything like that. So signed by the entire cast. So we're going to get that done, soon. Like, if for some reason you want to give this to a gift for someone for Christmas, we'll have it. I don't know why you would want to do that, but if you do want to do that, we'll have plenty of time for that. So very soon.
Because they love their loved ones.
Exactly. October. It will be up in October. I'm saying that now, so I have to do it.
Whoa. October 2017.
2017.
Okay.
October 2017.
My wife will get one for my birthday for me.
Yeah. Ryan Higgins, that's me. I'm on Twitter as well as Brock Sager, that's Brock Sager. Larsen Bryce, that's Bryce Larsen. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie is Insanity and Chaos. The store is Comics Con Store. Geekbox Comedy Button, Good Job Brain, I'll Talk Podcast, and the Manga Machinations podcast. That is our podcast on our little network. Go listen to those guys. We appreciate if you do, because I listen to almost all of them myself. That's it for this week, Bryce. Thanks. Thanks for coming. It's been a while. You've been off for a few weeks. We need a Bryce Briefly soon.
Yeah,
Charlie
I'll be here.
has told me that he's working on Charlie Time episode 2, so that should be coming soon.
Yeah, it won't be as good as the next Bryce Briefly, though. I'll tell you that.
Okay. We got some specials.
I do have to say, the art in this Batman the Murder Machine
Whoa!
is,
Spoiler level 4. I'm out of here.
yes,
No,
the
I'm
art
outta here.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Excellent.
It's dripping with.
It's probably the best Cyborg story written anytime recently. Because really the ongoing book's not that good.
No.
Okay, that's it. We'll see you guys next week.